right, let's fucking take two. Ready? You good?
Dose.
Cool.
Dose.
Howdy.
It's fucking howdy on out, buddy.
Fuck it, whatever. We're just getting the howdies down. All right, howdy. Welcome to this week's episode of Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. Fuck, man.
Now you can't even talk.
No, man.
Hi,
I'm your host.
The Jarl.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm your host.
I'm the Jarl.
Oh fuck. All right. Oh man, this is way too early for this.
Fuck
or
it.
way too late.
Just leave it.
I'm
fucking
Vico,
shoot
the bearded one. I'm Vico,
Yeah.
the bearded one, as usual. You can call me JT for short. We're joined by my co-host and fellow epic outtaker. I think that works. Alex the
Yeah.
Jarl Martinez.
I mean, if you don't know us, we're having fun. So if this is your first episode,
If this
We're
is
not-
your first episode, man, you've got some catching up to do. You don't even fucking know what to expect.
God, even if you start from this point and just go forward, just know that we're not having a bad time.
Yeah, absolutely not. Before we get started, there's a couple things that we have to start doing.
As I punch the mic.
Bam. So, as we grow our audience, in order to continue to grow that, you got to like, comment, and subscribe.
Would you say that as we touch it, it gets bigger?
I would say that's usually the case for most things.
Okay.
I'm pouring my glass now. I can't fucking do this. I'm drinking fucking some moonshine from the Willie's Distill. Fuck, I'm gonna have to drink because like I can't speak. So what do you got?
Rocking, January. I got some Aviation gin
Finally,
and some tonic.
hallelujah.
So we're 23 days in, and I've drank 3 days out of
Okay.
23.
That's pretty good.
So that's
have-
pretty good for me. And I'm rocking the Zennies, you know.
Oh shit.
Got the Zenny sixes.
Why? I didn't even know you had a nicotine problem.
I know. It's just fun.
You know what? That's fair because I like the coffee flavor ones.
I can't do those. That's like the
No?
only one I can't do. No, but my favorite is the citrus. The citrus.
I do a citrus when I'm drinking booze, typically. And then if I'm drinking coffee, I obviously do the fucking coffee one. So it's like that halfway, like at noon, I don't do them because that's the handoff point.
Yeah, I was figuring that if I did citrus with a G&T, that
Perfect.
I'm in good shape, right?
Yeah. I have 3 experimental batches of mead coming up.
Dun dun dun.
So these won't be released to the public because we have to taste them.
Are they coming to Tejas?
No, so unfortunately, because of all the other things that are going on in my life, I wasn't able to get the brews on to go.
You're
to
a bitch.
I do have 3 bottles still.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Justine just cracked out a top secret one last weekend.
I was
So-
wondering what she did with that one. I gave that one to her in Bozeman, directly to her. I said, "Don't fucking give this to Rudy."
Yeah, we had to sneak it away from him.
That motherfucker would like, smell it. I see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, yeah, so that was May, right?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, it was. It
Yeah,
was.
so it was
It
almost
was
a year.
over. No, it was over a year old.
Yeah, yeah, because it wasn't
Pretty-
bottled in May, so
No, it was sitting on my shelf for a bit. So yeah,
it's probably about a year old.
yeah, fuck it. Let's go with it.
But that dog definitely hunted.
That dog was a good dog.
That dog hunted.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we can do a little let everybody know. So I'm working on making a peanut butter chocolate mead.
Wow.
I am also going to make a whiskey mead.
Do you just pour it on ice cream?
You know, man, I don't know, man. It could. So here's how it's going to work. It's either going to be the most epic mead that I've ever made in my entire life.
Just a
Or-
disaster.
Complete disaster that I just drink when I'm sad at my life. Which is
Just to remind you why you're sad at your life.
yes, absolutely.
The bearded
And the-
Viking way.
And since you brought up gin,
Hmm.
so I said the whiskey mead, which is actually going to be not really whiskey because we don't distill, but it's white oak aged mead and I'm going to use some peat moss to give it the scotchy feel. It's going to be real good. I can't wait. OG is the base.
It's going to be scotchy.
Scotchy. Beam me up, Scotchy.
Did you just drop a Star Trek reference?
I did for you.
I don't think that's ever happened.
No.
This is going to be a weird night.
This is just fucking hold on.
This is going to be a weird night, guys.
I am sober as a jaybird right now.
Fuck.
I haven't even had a beer since Saturday when I watched that stressful fucking game. Anyway, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to finish up the mead conversation. So the final one, because you're drinking gin, it is going to be an epic gin, like a gin kind of mead. So it's original mead based with yarrow, which grows up here, juniper berries, and hibiscus.
Well, let's not give away all the secrets at once.
I'm not going to tell. They don't know how to make it. They don't know the quantities.
Guy.
Hey, listen, it's published. It's called a Skyrim mead.
Fuck ass.
I don't know, whatever. These are experiments. You may or may not get to see them. I don't even care, because it may just be one of those things that we keep here as a.
It'll just be a house drunk.
Select reserve. Yeah, we can't get high on our own supply. For fuck's sake, come on, fuck.
Just get fucked up on the reserve supply, on the house meads.
Fuck yeah.
They're like those ones that you have to come to Columbus to drink.
Yeah, I'm in on that. That's fine. So we've got some cool things happening with the mead front. Did you see that our septic system approval came through?
Yeah, I'm sure that like by the time like we dig a hole, they'll like unapprove it or something. They'll just like send us a get fucked well card.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's fair. I think that I'm fucked up right now. Seriously, is because of that this studying for this global econ final. Like tomorrow, 3 p.m. Mountain Time.
Good luck.
Well, I will need it, even though I feel like I know it, but I will need it. What do you have going on? We've talked about the shit that I'm going to be doing here. What do you got?
Dude, I'm not doing anything like ever.
Really?
That's my plan, is to just not do anything. Just to just coast by in my 30s and not do shit.
No. That's a 50s thing. We got a lot of work to do.
Well,
okay, but it's not work.
That's fair.
It's going to be work for a bit, but like, I think it's going to be enjoyable work. Like, we haven't killed each other in 2.5 years of doing this yet.
That's true. It's true.
So like, and that's with a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, no, I legitimately, I have like baseball going on. And then like every weekend, my plan is like, don't die.
That's fair.
From
alcohol poisoning or like from working out?
Yeah, just everything, all of it.
Okay.
Just a yes, a blanket yes. And then I think that I finally got this Dodge in my garage.
Don't say it. Don't finish it. Don't finish it.
It's finally, it's close. Okay. It's close. I should have a deposit in minutes. So we'll see.
Look, okay, listen, I said don't say it, so I'm not.
We'll see.
I was the voice of reason.
We'll see. We'll see.
Bad when I'm the voice of reason.
I just feel like I feel like it's time. I feel like this is the right one. You know, it's like when you find that right one, you just know. You just know. I feel like I found the right one.
That's good. I'm in on this.
So I hope it is. Hopefully it goes to a good home.
Yeah, I bet you it does.
I hope so. It sounds like it's going to.
I feel bad because Pickle Rick's moving on, but it was, I mean, at the same time, it is what it is.
I wish I could say it was a good run.
That's fair. I feel like old cars are either, there's not a middle ground, right? There is fuck this and fuck this. And there's, this was awesome. And then like when you are like, when you're in the middle of it, like you're like, okay, this isn't that bad. But then you look back at what you spent and what the enjoyment was. You either had an awesome run with it, or it was like, no, fuck this.
Get me the fuck out of here. Yeah, no. Yeah. And with this, I feel like there was so much that was not right and not good that I just had to put a fuck ton of money to get it right and good, so I could get it out of here before like it decided to be a dick about something else.
Well, that's fair.
But the good news is it's right now. So the next person that gets it isn't going to have the same experience that I had with it.
You go through cars like I go through birds.
They get to do cool shit like put like wheels and tires on it now, or like a stereo system, like, you know, something like that.
Or if they're like, you know, cholo, then they can put some curb feelers on it and whatever.
No way, dude. No way. It's too high. It's too high.
Oh, that's fine. For now.
For now.
I
don't know if there's any cholos where it's going. It's going up like French fries and gravy area, bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's cholos everywhere, bro.
You're right. Somebody's got to work.
I mean, it's fair. There's lots of shit that's got to get done. Other than that, dude, like we got some really cool shit. If you guys haven't looked on the socials, wherever they're located in your realms, you should definitely go check out the Instagram. You should check out the TikTok or the Facebook, because we got a fucking dope sign.
Have you been doing your social media posts?
Once a week.
Have you been doing your TikToks?
Once a week.
When?
It's not once a week yet. It was last week.
I did not see a TikTok last week.
Yeah, I just fucking posted. That's where I got the fucking, like, the whole layout for the Instagram. It's real.
What are you talking about?
Like the fucking reel that I tagged you in.
Did you tag me in a reel?
The thing that you shared on your story with me and the sign glowing red. I can't wait.
I thought that came from Instagram. That was my bad.
No, they came from TikTok.
You're supposed to just talk on TikTok, I thought. I thought you just did the TikTok talk.
I do a lot of things on TikTok. Mostly I give people hooch balls.
You gotta master the walk and talk.
I can't do that, dude. You're fucking crazy. Ain't happening. I can fucking barely speak tonight, let alone fucking walk and talk. That's crazy. Crazy talk, dude. We will be going live on TikTok and the socials. But before we go into that, like, vote, do your thing. There's the sign.
Oh yeah.
That's what it looks like with red. But as soon as the playoff run for my team ends, it's going to go to orange or green or probably blue. I don't know. We'll see, because you can change the color of it. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, didn't you already see that? Like, it's supposed to be Baltimore and San Francisco Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
have you seen all that conspiracy shit?
Oh, dude, yeah. There's a shitload of it, and you know what? Honestly, if that's the case, I'm not mad. Like, I don't really care. Whatever.
I don't think San Fran's gonna get there, dude. I think it's gonna be the Chiefs again.
The Chiefs? Well, no, the Chiefs are playing Baltimore, and the Niners are playing the Lions.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I had it backwards. I was thinking that they were playing.
I don't think the Chefs are making it.
Oh, the Chefs are totally making it.
I don't want the Chefs to make it.
Dude, Taylor Swift and her man are making it.
Yeah. It's a rematch for me for Super Bowls anyways, no matter what.
Dude,
the only two losses in Super Bowl history for the Niners are the two fucking teams remaining. So it's like if we win this weekend, it's going to literally be like, oh, fuck. Now I have like 2 weeks of fucking butthole pucker. Cool.
Dude, it's going to be the Swifties versus the M&Ms, bro.
No.
Yeah, dude.
Nah.
I don't know.
I don't like your tone.
I'm just saying.
I don't like your tone.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't like your tone.
Can you remember?
No.
It's going to happen. Dude, how sad are you going to be? Are you going to have like a week of mourning?
Probably. Not really though, because like I'm like super committed. I mean, I love the kid that they got playing quarterback, Brock Purdy. He's super humble, awesome. I love the team, Kyle Shanahan. Like, I don't got to deal with any of that political bullshit that we used to have to deal with all the time. There's like 3 years of me not fucking watching Niners football on the weekends. That's a long fucking time for me. It's my Coliseum.
Huh.
It's my ultimate distraction from life. It's 3 hours of my life
Coliseum.
Yeah, my Coliseum. Oh, hey, by the way, on that note, too, speaking of Coliseums.
Yes.
What's his name? Who played in Gladiator? Who was the Emperor?
Like Russell Crowe? Oh,
no.
Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. So he's in a show called Napoleon.
Oh,
Don't fucking watch it.
What? Why?
It's fucking terrible, man. Like,
Was it really?
man.
He's so good, though.
He's a great actor, but like he portrays Napoleon Bonaparte as like this whiny, booby, titty fuck guy, which may be true, but I wanted to watch a fucking war movie, not like Michael Bain doing fucking Pearl Harbor. Bad. I literally 2 hours and 40 minutes of my life that I can't unwatch and I can't get back. Thank God I was trying to go to sleep.
That's a bummer. I was actually looking forward to watching that.
Dude, I'm just telling everybody, 0 Rotten Tomatoes on that bitch.
So would you say they're all rotten?
Oh, yeah, whatever it is. What does Rotten Tomato mean? Like 67% Rotten Tomatoes means it's good or something? I don't fucking know.
I thought it had to have a little popcorn bucket for it to be good.
Oh, yeah, 0 popcorns for sure. There was like you know, like when you have a bad movie, you can get by with some action sequences. Like even in the action sequences,
what's that?
It was shit. Or if there's tits, like if there's tits, no
that makes
tits.
It all better.
No tits.
That's lame. Napoleon definitely had a lot of boobs around him.
All the time.
Yeah.
Because it was like 5'2", right?
No, I think he was like 5'8", actually.
I'm Googling. You were about to say something.
I went to a movie recently.
Dude, what was that like?
That was fun, actually. I haven't been to a movie in so long. And we went to go see, it was a total chick flick, like rom-com. What was it called? Anybody But You, I think is what it was called. It was funny. It was really funny.
Okay.
And they have like these big like lounge chairs that recline in the movie theater now.
Yeah, those are dope.
Yeah, it was pretty magical.
If I was in high school still, that's where I'd go to get laid.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, and you know, it was weird, right? Because like, you remember like going out on dates and taking a chick to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'd like wear, you know, nice jeans and like a nice shirt or, you know, something like that if it was like a date.
Yeah.
These fuckers are all wearing like sweats. But I'm like, is it just because you're getting like hand-joes in the seats? Or like is this cola that's spilled on the floor? Like, what is this?
It's Russian culture bleeding over from their fucking tracksuits, but we don't do tracksuits here, so we do sweats.
It's like gray sweatpants season in the movie theater.
It's always gray sweatpants season for the movie theater. By the way, he's 5'2". I was right.
That's not right.
Yeah. How tall is Napoleon? 5 peeds, 2 pouses. Pooses? Or 5'2". He was a short guy.
I don't think he was that short, man. I thought it was just like a them talking shit.
No, he was like really short, dude.
I thought there was.
Well, that's one source. There's another one. So that's from allthat'sinteresting.com. And then the History Channel, which, listen, like they do weird fucking docuseries on the History Channel with fake shit. It says probably around 5'6".
Yeah, they're
either way
5'6".
Let's split the difference and call him 5'4". It's
perfect. There's got to be a biography. Look, this one says 5'7", and this is biography.com.
This one also says from military.com that he was 5'6". There's another one that says 5'2". Whatever, dude. Like, get your shit together.
Yeah, World Atlas says he was 5'7". Somebody dig him up. Dig him up. We got to figure this out.
Yeah. Apparently, the imperial inch was slightly shorter than at 2.54 centimeters. So that's why there's a difference. So apparently the imperial inch is different. I'm going to start using
the imperial inch, bro.
Facts, bro. I'm going to be like 6 to 7 imperial inches.
Yeah, like a wind-packed 8.
Yeah. Around.
Dude, so let's go with never mind, let's not go down that road because we'll be here all fucking day. Never mind. Never mind. I digress.
We gotta all right. We've got a great trip coming up. I'm excited. We got to actually probably remind Bubba about some stuff, about some flights.
Possibly. Yeah.
Probably a good idea. Feb 1 through 7.
That's what I'm told.
Yeah, we were going to go to dinner with a Swedish redneck on the 6th, but he apparently couldn't get flights on time for us to go to dinner with him. So he's going to get home at like 9:30 at night. So I said, well, if you're on your way home from the airport and you want to get a drink, me and Al aren't doing shit the next day. So we're just going to go to the airport.
Hungover flights are the worst.
Well, I mean, whatever. We're going to the airport at the same time. We're going to the same airport too. It's weird to me that you can fly from Texas to Salt Lake. I love it.
Yeah.
Right. And then you could fly from Southwest from Salt Lake to Bozeman. But if you try to do a connecting flight of any kind from Bozeman to Texas, you have to go through Denver. And I fucking hate that airport.
I do too. It's the worst, dude. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. It kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies.
No, I mean, we talked about it in the past with all the dumb and all the other things that are there. So a little foreskinning. I mean, shadowing.
Yeah, definitely.
Some stuff we're going to talk about today.
Yeah,
We're going to be down at Sweetwater Bar and Grill. We're going to hit up Deep Ellum. We're going to probably chill for a day.
First day, we're getting boots and hats. It's like tradition.
Boots and hats and boots and hats and boots and hats.
Yeah. So that's on the docket. We gotta have some fresh threads, bro.
I'm not even gonna fly down with a hat this time.
No, I'm not either. I'm just wearing a hat back. That's what I did last time too.
Oh, I thought you had a hat. No, you didn't have a hat because you got the sombrero.
Sure did.
You going to get sombrero this time?
No, I gotta get something different. Maybe I'll get the hat that you got last time. Maybe that's
that's a pretty dope hat though.
It's a cool hat, and it's like green.
Yeah. It's fucking weird. Cool.
Yeah,
I felt like Robin Hood, like Robin of Locksley.
Like Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't do that on purpose, by the way. I want you to know that. I never do it on purpose.
No, we know.
Oh, that's fair. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with a different flavor hat this time. I'm gonna go with so I got the silver belly and I got the green one. I think I might go with a dark tan one.
Ooh, maybe I'll get a silver belly. I don't have a silver belly yet.
That's super nice. You look good in my silver belly.
I think I do too.
I don't look good in black hats.
Really?
Like the black cowboy hat. Like I want to look like Kurt Russell in fucking Tombstone. And I
want to look like Kurt Russell like all the time.
Yeah, there's also that too. But I'm talking about like with the hat. I want to have like a hat where I can look that fucking dope. But with a black hat. But I cannot pull it off. Like.
Maybe I'll get another black hat. I only have the one black hat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
whatever. Yeah, so we're gonna be down there.
Send us your styling advice.
Also, let us know if you want to meet up with us because we're gonna be down there and like our whole goal is to go and do a meetup. So I'm sure there's a couple honky tonks we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be down there with. We're gonna go talk to a bunch of people. Which hopefully get some meat down there.
Yeah, and our dance card is not entirely full yet, so you could still be on our dance card.
I'm just glad that we're not doing fucking like 3 days of like back to back things, like we did last time. It was just like fucking nonstop, and every time you come up here,
I want to. That's what we do.
I want to go somewhere and like be like, okay. The first day, just like, and like the last night, just be like, and then that way I can wake up tomorrow, whenever it is, and not be leaving at like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning and just be like, Not having something on the bookends is the most important. Like if your agenda is to go to the hat shop, that's a good agenda for the first day.
This time you should not puke next to
you shouldn't puke either.
At least I wasn't in the parking lot.
I was in the car.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there's that. Like
we got,
we got fucking housed when we were down there. That man at the Sweetwater Grill, Sweetgrass Grill or whatever it was.
Sweetwater, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, man, the drinks wouldn't stop coming. I don't know who was fucking ordering them.
I'm pretty sure that it was me because I think I paid for them.
Oh, well, it was fine.
It was
wasn't
my
fine.
fault. Yeah, until it wasn't.
There was a time in which you were like, you got to drink this shot, and I was like, no. And you're like, but you got to drink it, or I'm gonna drink it. And I was like, I'm not drinking that shot.
Yeah. See, and that's where things went wrong. You decided right then and there you were not my battle buddy.
No.
And I went down in a blaze of glory.
You bought 3 shots. Tro walked the fuck off. I took the shot with you. You were like, hey, you got to drink this. Tro was like, nah, bitch, I'm out. And then you're like, it's your turn. I'm like, man, lead by example. And you're like, fuck you, bro. And we tried to even give it to the boat. And the boat was like, nope, I'm not doing another one. like when all of us are like that and you're like, all right, down the hatch. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks to be.
Very fucking go. Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to waste it. So
somebody hold his hair.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that sucks about throwing up with a big giant beard, by the way, and if you have to hold back, right? And then the dreads, I got to hold my head like this to throw up. It's fucking ridiculous.
Huh.
Things you wouldn't think of.
You should come up with some kind of throw up coat
over my beard.
Or just take your shirt and just put this part of your head through the top of your shirt.
I will literally look like referencing last week.
You'll look like Igor.
I was thinking like the what's his name? Jim Carrey when he's coming out
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura when nature calls, when he's coming out of the fucking rhino.
Out of the rhino, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be fucking great. So, by the way, Texas folks, I think there's 2 of you to listen in Texas. Tell your friends we're going to be in town. I'm going to go live on TikTok. Not following us, you should.
So is this going to be the Texas-ode?
Ooh, that's what we could call it. Yeah, I like that. That's a good play on words.
I'm here for you, bud.
Well, you're here for the boat.
The Texas-ode.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we're going to meet up with Martin Antonio and Michael Summers. We're going to be on their podcast, Truth Tall Tales Whiskey.
Yeah.
Whiskey. It'll be good. So,
I want what they're going to want to talk about.
I'm actually really interested to know what we're going to talk about. This is going to be a full episode with them.
Are they just going to spring it on us? We do our guests?
We have guests?
The boat and Ryan.
I mean, okay, fair.
Those are our guests.
Those are our guests for now.
I was going to say, yeah.
So we had some really good feedback recently. For our listeners that called things out, I want to let you guys know that sometimes we go off the chains because nobody ever tells us anything. But I want to do a shout out to Rob. Talk about Rob a lot, and to John Wall. Talk about him a lot too. For reminding us how important it is to focus on men's mental health in these casts. Also, I want to call out to Rob. You don't got to try to disprove everything.
He's our fact checker.
He's a terrible fact checker.
I think he does it because he's bad at it because he does it while he's driving.
That's probably true. He's also probably using I don't know, Google or Safari to do his searches too.
He's definitely using Safari.
Yeah.
That sounds like something he would do.
He probably is.
Oh no, it's not Safari. What's the? It's just like Firefox or whatever. What does Android use? Does it use Google?
I don't know. It's probably Firefox. It's probably fucking Internet Explorer, knowing him.
Could be.
Yeah. Like, don't use that shit. But you're more than welcome to continue to fact check because I love the conversations. I just wish that I would get a text from you just saying, "Hey man, how you doing?" instead of your fucking podcast. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm in the middle of a fucking conference call.
Wait. Which episode?
Yeah, what are we talking about? Where are you at? What are we caught up? I don't even know if we're caught up. So I think it'd be really cool if you would just preface with like a, "Hey man, how you doing?" Or hey gents, fuck you too. Yeah. Something, you know?
Yeah.
Started off that way. But I really want to call that out though, that the feedback has been awesome and I don't know how you feel, but I feel like it was really, really good to hear that. Like we're actually impacting somebody's life.
Well, we have like a general agenda type thing and a general format. So I think it's like, when we stray from the format, I didn't think that we realized how much anybody gave a shit, whether we strayed from it or not. But I think we've heard more than once now that, don't stray from the agenda or the format, retards, because hard R.
Yeah.
Because hard R. Because, that's what people have grown to like and what they expect. And people don't like change.
Well, that's interesting. So there's a lot of stuff on that I learned recently, but I don't want to go down that path because it's a dark path and we're going to be there forever. Before we move on, since you don't really look on the YouTube account, we got to get you the login and stuff. Halverson said something recently. I got to pull it up. Yeah, he said something to you, and I told him I would tell you the thing. Now I just got to get there. Because why would I be able to get there easily here? That's why. He said, "Oh man, I didn't know that. Love you, boo." Not really quite remember what episode that was or what we were fucking talking about, but
was it about the response at the mall?
Maybe. No, I don't know what episode. Hold on, give me a sec. It was episode 37. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. I actually read it the other day.
What were we fucking talking about?
We were talking about Antarctica, and we were talking about like aliens at the mall. How there was like 200 cops that showed up.
Oh no, no. That's Rob right there. I'm talking about Halverson. It was like episode 31, I think.
Oh, I must have mixed them up. Oh yeah, all the screen names throw me off.
There's more. Oh wait, there's more. Brotosaurus. That's what it was. It was on the Brotosaurus episode. He said, "Ah, oh, damn it! Now I feel bad. Sorry, Al. Nothing but love, my guy." And then it was like, "See these hats? Screen goes black with discount code info. Nope, can't see the hats."
What happened?
I don't remember what we fucking talked about.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, it happens a lot, guys. So like Al and I talk, and the guys talk. I don't even fucking know. Like this is the slowest week of talk we've had. Like, and I still have talked to him at least 200 fucking times.
But I have no idea what the fuck happened here.
Me neither.
Fuck. Next, you're just gonna have to holler at me on Facefuck or Insta shit.
I mean, don't you guys have phone numbers that you could text?
Oh yeah, we do have that. Yeah, we just never text. We always write dumb shit back and forth on. It's like our thing. It's our love language. That's talking shit back and forth on Facefuck.
That's fine. Fuck face.
Yeah, whatever.
That's awesome. So we've got a pretty cool episode coming up today. I want to jump into the men's mental health because it's actually something besides the 5 pillars. It's actually a huge part of why I started the company and why I think that you're so into it and everybody else is so into it. It's really important. I had a good talk with the boat about it. So on today's episode, in the men's mental health, we're going to talk about legacy. I think that's fucking awesome. That's a good agenda item. Proud of you.
man. I mean, listen, I don't do much, but I think I can write a pretty solid agenda.
It's literally like 11 lines. I would hope so.
I mean, it's fucking good. It's action packed with men's health.
Pow.
Yeah. Let's fucking.
Did you say pow?
Are
you saying pow?
Maybe. Let's fucking go. Let's get into it.
Let's fucking do it. Let's do it, man. So since you wrote the agenda, I'm gonna turn the time over to you. So
you're gonna turn it over to me.
Yeah, man. What is a legacy to you?
I don't know. I think it's kind of hard because I think that when you say legacy or you talk about legacy, like at least for me, I think about still not. Oh, so drippy down the sides though. That was hot. Nom nom nom. So I think that it's like what you're gonna leave behind, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think where it gets conflicted is your legacy your kids? Do you look at your legacy as things that you're going to leave behind? Do you look at it as wisdom that you've imparted, or impact that you've had on people? Because we talked about this recently where you're only like 2 generations from being forgotten, right?
Yeah, it's real. It's super real.
So I think that with at least the way I see the legacy is it's going to be what you like, the wisdom that you impart on your kids and the impact that you have on your kids, because your kids are the only ones that can keep that legacy and that little bit that you give them alive. Because I think that as you go on and they get older and grow up and kind of make their own path, those little tidbits and like wisdom and things that you've instilled into them, that's going to live on, I think, without them even knowing it, without them realizing it. So that wisdom is going to keep getting passed on. And, when it comes to like monetary things or material things, if there's some stuff there, then yeah, that'll live on for a little while too. But I think that, the teaching moments and the wisdom and stuff, I think that's going to go on a lot further. And that, say 2-3 generations down the road, they might not have any clue who you are. Your pictures might all be taken off the wall and you're just, your face is in a genealogy book somewhere on a Facebook account or a stupid YouTube, podcast or something. And that might be all that's left of you. But that wisdom might still be in them, and those lessons that you passed on might still be in them. They just don't know where it came from.
So I didn't realize this, but when we were talking just a little bit ago, and we were referencing, Joaquin, I'm Walking on Sunshine, Phoenix. In the film Gladiator, Maximus says before they go and battle the Germans, remember, men, that your actions and your words echo in eternity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what you just described, but with your children, right? So your actions and your words to your children, the way you raise your children, the actions that you show them, like how to love and how to be strong, how to punch a motherfucker when the motherfucker needs to get punched, right? Like those. Fuck yeah, they do sometimes. Those things do echo in eternity. Our actions do echo in eternity, and you're never gonna know it.
You bring up a good point about other people and people around you too, because he was talking to his troops, and yeah, that's kind of an angle that I never thought is the impact that we have on people around us. But finish your thought. I have kind of a funny story from the other day that I just realized will go along with this well.
Oh yeah, totally good. I can't wait. I'm gonna just finish the thought and then I'll turn it right back over to you. So the the ideology behind that is a very stoic mentality. Obviously, Maximus was learning from Marcus Aurelius, the original Stoic, right? And I really believe in the Stoicism philosophy, which is interesting because in like Stoicism, you focus on the now, like you eliminate emotion and you eliminate all these things. You don't worry about aspiring to be great. You worry or excellent. You worry about how you can be better in the moment and relishing the moment. And in doing so over time, you create your own greatness. And I think that's, from the way that I'm trying to live my life, the path that I'm trying to carve in my own personal life, that's really where my focus is, right? The goal is a legacy, and I'll get to my side of that in a minute, but I want to hear your story with that. So that was just my 2 cents to add in on that.
Well, so I think that, I didn't think about it until like just now when we started started talking about this, which is, kind of funny because there's really not a whole lot of forethought.
There's definitely no foreskin.
No, definitely not. That's why it's a WinPack 6.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so me and Justine were on a long drive. We were going to a friend's birthday party. And just this weekend, and I was talking about, I don't even know how we got on the subject, but I was talking about how if I wouldn't have got out of the Marine Corps, if I would have re-upped, then my kind of future was already written for me. If I would have re-upped, it would have been very, very predictable.
Yeah.
Because I was all my paperwork was done, and I was gonna re-up as a career planner. So after I re-upped, I went to school like 2 or 3 weeks later, and then been sent back to either Japan or sent to Hawaii. It was already in the contract.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the two places they needed career planners. And career planner school is like 5 guys. It's not like sergeant's course or recruiting school or anything like that, because there's not that many career planners in the Marine Corps. So
And it shows.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's a very small group of dudes, and you see 8-year staff sergeants, 9-year staff sergeants, just because they have to wait for that next guy to retire because they're the next one in line to move up. So the cutting scores and stuff like that are ridiculous. But I didn't really give a shit. But that was going to be it. It was going to be, and one of my very favorite people that I was in the Marine Corps with, he got out as Master Guns, I believe. He was the coolest, like, he was a staff sergeant then and picked up gunny when we were in Okinawa, but he was just like a really cool, down to earth, kind of give you guidance, saw him all the time. And he's one of the ones that kind of made me want to be a career planner. And then we had another one in 5th Marines. It was really cool, but he was there forever. And I knew that if I went back, I was going to end up in Okinawa for probably the rest of my enlistment, or close to. And I was thinking about that, and like we were talking about it, I was like, so we probably still would have had, a couple kids, and we were already married at the time. But all of the stuff that I did now, in this in this universe, would have been totally undone. So there, I would still have 2 more years before I could retire, or something like that, the Marine Corps.
We wouldn't have re-met.
Right. So like that's what I'm saying is like that whole storyline cuts off everything that's been impacted here. So we're talking about legacy and just like those little impacts along the way that have changed trajectories for people and made them think or do or gone a different way. All that totally would have been undone. Not saying like I know the impacts and everything that I've had, but I know that the things that I've done for some of the people around me, that's totally undone. And
it's a weird thought when you start going down like the butterfly effect, fucking realm.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, that totally, like, thinking about legacy and talking about it, that totally impacts that whole thing. It undoes so much.
Yeah. It's really weird, right? So adding on that, and I'll jump into my version of what legacy is. If I go back and I don't make the bad choices that I made as a young Marine, and I toe the line, then I'm promoted to staff sergeant, right? And then when I'm promoted to staff sergeant, then I become a career recruiter, and I probably retire as a master gunner sergeant. Like I would have retired 2 years ago. That's fucking weird. Super weird to me. Um, but then I'm not a project manager, and I don't make mead. I don't deal with the pandemic the way that I did. I don't meet the people that I met along the way. I don't stop people from committing suicide the way that I did. Maybe I do in the future, but or in that alternate universe, I just don't. I don't become the man that I am that I'm proud of today. I become a different version, and maybe I'm proud. Maybe I'm not. We don't know, right? Like you don't know what you don't know. Um, and it's a real mind fuck when you really start going down that idea
Yeah.
of alternate universe, right? Like there's the film, the Jet Li film with Jason Statham, The One. Have you ever seen it?
Oh yeah. That's
That
old.
Yeah, but it's very, very like like for its time, like people like this is a crazy movie, and now like we're talking about CERN and shit like that, where it's ripping, they're trying to rip into alternate dimensions, which are
Oh, yeah.
like that. Maybe that's a fucking real thing. Maybe
They've
that's a
probably already
thing.
fucking done it, right?
Yeah. Dicks. Uh, so it's really weird because like if I look at my life and I really take a good hard look, along the way I've definitely hurt a lot of people, and I'll be the first to admit that like there was a time when I didn't want anybody to know me, and I think all of us kind of have that path, like where there was a time when your now self reflects and you look back and you're like, no, that dude's a fucking douchebag. Like I would never talk to the younger version of me. I would walk right fucking past him. Like if I was me now and my older version of myself, I would walk past that vet bro.
Yeah, I think
Like,
that's just kind of like getting older and maturing too is,
for sure.
we're, everybody gets to that young and invincible, you know, time in their life. And we had it twice as bad because we were in the Marine Corps. That
Hmm.
makes us twice as invincible as any, that like 10 power invincible points, right?
Yeah.
And then
I,
you get out and then get into the army, right? So you get like all the other invincible points too. So it's like,
yeah.
you
Dude, it's
you get
weird.
to be that like young just asshole because it's ingrained at that point, right?
Yeah.
So
I was a
it would take a
22
while to
year
work
old.
yourself out.
Yeah, I was a 22-year-old sergeant of Marines. That's fucking crazy. Like
Yeah.
that's fucking crazy in the infantry. That doesn't happen in the infantry, right? Um, and I definitely walked like my shit didn't stink. I acted like my shit didn't stink, but man, it definitely did, right? Like I was definitely I was the Marine of Marines in my mind. My senior leaders thought I was too until I wasn't, right? And that's fine. But I think that butterfly effect, when you start really thinking about it, like that's a path that could have been something, right? But it's nothing. And it's
It is,
weird.
and if you think about it too much, like I think it has the potential to fuck you up because you're kind of dwelling on the past and like what
Hmm.
could have been,
Hmm.
and not saying that it wouldn't have been a good life and that cool things wouldn't happen, but like this worked out pretty good.
I'm pretty happy with my life overall.
Yeah, I mean, it
I
worked
give it
out.
like 9.2 stars out of 10. Would recommend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know?
you know,
Yeah.
but
I have a interesting take on legacy. I've actually I've really done a lot of self reflection over the years, and like when I started the company, like I didn't really, I had no aspirations to create something amazing, like 0. I was like, I'm good being a PM. I'm really fucking good at being a PM. And it pays my bills and I can go do weird shit and fucking have weird habits and hobbies and hang out with my boys and I don't have to worry about a damn person buying me a drink and I can go on adventures. That was it. Like I got a house. I got the shit that I want. And then the pandemic hit and all the if you haven't heard the story, just go listen to I think 20 of the 37 episodes we talk about it. Right? But in the past 2 years, I've really started to identify what legacy does mean to me. And to me, and this might sound vain, but it's not supposed to come across as vain. So if you don't know me, understand that I speak from my heart and it's not meant to be callous or anything like mean. That's not the person that I am. So I'm a man who didn't get to spend time with his children as they were growing up. I didn't get to make an impact because of the situation that I was in. That was put upon me, and I dealt with it the best that I could with what I knew. So for me, legacy is definitely about my kids. It's always been about my kids. It's about that impact, right? But beyond that, legacy to me is, I'm not saying that I want to be Alexander the Great, where people remember me for the name, but I want to be remembered for my actions. I want to be remembered in the way that I carried myself, the way that I gave people the shirt off of my back when I didn't have anything other than that shirt for myself. And that sounds very, very vain. But the reason why I want that, it's not for me. Because I'm going to be dead. I give a fuck. Like, it's really not. Like, if I die tomorrow and there's a funeral, I want my children to see the amount of good you can do no matter how hard your beginnings were by the people that show up. Does that make sense?
So, sorry.
Don't get choked up over there. It was just a story.
Oh God. No, it's so would you say that like a certain part of it is you trying to fix the past through the present? Trying to be better now for, the sins of past JT?
Yeah, so like, I talked about that story with the kid who sold his Xbox and stuff so I could pay for my kids' Christmas, and he bought my kids Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And paying that forward because I'm never going to see Lauren again. I'm never going to see that kid again. In my mind, I'll never see him, and if I do, it'll be everything that I can to try to get that kid a new Miata, right? Like for real.
Right.
Like for real. But it's more beyond that. I don't think it's about the sins of the past. It's about teaching my children and passing on the legacy that, like, no matter what happens, right? No matter what your past is, not no matter what. There's certain things in the past, like if you are a pedophile or if you kill innocents, barring those very few exceptions, or the R word of a woman, right, or a man, like barring very few instances, like you can always change your path. And I want my children who saw the me on that bad path to see the change, to inspire them to be the best versions of themselves.
Right, to inspire them and instill that they can change their stars, they can change their cards.
Yeah. Your destiny, like, so in my faith, it's a web, right? And so basically, like, you have a starting point and an end point. Everything in between is up to you. That's the destiny, right? Like, I don't believe in destiny, where like you're preordained to fucking drive down the road at 20 miles an hour. Like, fuck off. Like, I don't believe that.
I think that you definitely, just like what we were talking about with my story, I think you definitely have different choices and different paths put in your way.
Mhm.
And it's up to you to make the choice. And once you make it, that's what you're going with, right?
Here's a mind fuck. What happens if you start off as one soul, like one single entity, and each time you make a decision that could either benefit, stay on the same path, or detract from your life, it deviates part of you into a different dimension. Part of you goes into a different dimension.
I mean,
And
all I can hope is that I meet those other dudes and like we get to hang out around like a campfire and tell stories about like the cool parts where we rocked the fucking shit in our own timelines.
could you hang out with two of you? Because I
Fuck
couldn't.
yeah, dude. I could
No,
definitely hang out with
fuck
you.
no,
I would
man.
have so much fun.
Dude, you would be the most boring people to be around. You'd be like,
No way.
yeah,
Fuck you. I am a good time gal. I
you are
dance
by
hip hop.
yourself. No, man. Like you're good, but like two or three of you, like it would just be a whole bunch of glaring looks when I'm telling a story.
The party would never stop.
Oh, that's a fucking lie. You would literally get tired. You'd be like, I don't really care about your story, Al 2.0, because I was there too, and it was different. So fuck you. It's not how it went.
No, because it's still my story. So I get to hear my own story. Just from a different version of me. Maybe like a skinnier version of me, less gray hair me. You know, possibilities are fucking endless.
I mean, really, that's true. So on the legacy side, so that's what I think of. And when I started the mead company, it was literally a joke. Like if anybody thinks that this was all like pre-planned, you're crazy. Yeah. This was literally like, hey man, I made some bathtub hooch. It's really fucking strong.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is it like totally wasn't the plan at all, but it definitely. And I'm not gonna say that like it's totally worked out because we do things the bearded Viking way, but eventually it's gonna work out.
If you beat a rock with another rock, eventually one of them's gonna fucking break.
Something's gonna break, dude.
Something's
gonna break.
Oh, okay. So I can use that rock as the breaking rock. I'm gonna use these other rocks, and I'm gonna, whatever. And it's weird to me because like never in my entire life would I have imagined that I would have found the crew that I have now and that you have now, like our crew, that are so aligned in a unified vision of legacy and whatever legacy means to each of them, right? Like it's truth. And like leaving a mark on the world. You know how fucking hard it is to leave a mark on the world? It's insane.
Yeah. And that's why it's like I get what you're trying to say. But I think mine's going to be, focus is going to be more on like a local mark, just to mark on, those people that come after me. That way, like when I'm old and I become a grandpa and stuff, and I get to have a speech at a wedding, I can be like, all this is because I got laid.
That's perfect. You know what I mean? I'm on the same page as you. I just think there's different layers of that of the term legacy, right? And
it's an onion.
It's definitely it's Shrek as fuck, bro.
Oh, and sometimes it's stinky, yeah. Because I mean, the legacy, to build that legacy, you got to crawl through a mile of shit before you. And who knows, in 10 years when we're on episode 1037, we could be like, God, we were fucking dumb,
I mean, I look at a lot of the Facebook posts where I thought I was being fucking like smart and writing something kind or whatever, and like I'm like, man, what fucking Neanderthal fucking wrote that shit, And you're like, oh, I grew up, I became more educated, I started to understand humanity a little bit better because I'm no longer in my bubble or whatever, right? I think that the other portion of legacy to me is exactly what you have, like in your mind, like. To me, they overlap, like the duality, right? So you're teaching your children one way, and I've never been the one who gets applauded. Like I was never promoted by my own CO. Like he was never around for any of my promotions in any of my branches.
Daddy wasn't there.
No, Daddy wasn't there. So I always had like some fucking second lieutenant or first lieutenant who would fucking promote me, or. Like I even got promoted by a warrant officer once, which is fucking weird to me. Like and so like that's a thing. And like the awards that I've received from work for being like the project manager of the year, like they've never been given to me by like the CEO of the company. They're always given to me by my boss, which is cool. Like my boss is cool. But at the same time, it's like everybody else that gets the same award outside of me, they all get the presentation by, the CEO.
That's all right, dude.
And
Don't feel bad. Every time I get an award, it just shows up in the fucking mail and nobody says anything about it.
I'm waiting for my Purple Heart to just show up in the fucking mail.
Oh fuck, dude. I got like they give you like a 15-year medal and like certificate or whatever. And
is it gonna go on your me wall?
it's like on my me fucking shelf face down right over there in the corner. Like I was like, oh cool. And I didn't even know that it happened. But like my leave hours went up because when you get to a certain point, like you get more leave. And I was like, huh. It was like one of those things where it's like, do I tell somebody about this? And then I was like, yeah, I'll tell them when I get back. Because I was going to the gorge. And
Oh yeah.
Right before I left to the gorge, a fucking certificate shows up and like a little VA I love me pin shows up saying 15 years. Because I had forgotten that I even bought back my service. Because you can buy back your service from the military.
That's fucking
I was
funny.
like, oh, this is neat, So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. So I'm like sitting there, and it was like I grabbed the mail before we left. So I like opened it up at the gorge. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, oh, hey, look, 15 years, guys. Right?
That's fucking awesome.
But it was really, I just got all tingly, the zinny. But it was pretty funny because it just shit like that happens. It just shows up. I'm totally with you. Like I got promoted. I always got promoted and got the certificate read off by like my captain or my lieutenant, and I worked directly for the colonel, so I could ask the colonel to do it at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's a busy guy, but I was the only guy in my MOS to go from like being a full-on fucking private when I got to the island. Everybody was asking if I got NJP'd. And I'm like, no, I didn't. No, I'm just that good. I got picked up at school really early. Got that shit done. But yeah, it was just like, so I went from, I went through all the ranks basically in Okinawa, and then when I got to 5th, I didn't get promoted anymore because I got out.
I was meritoriously promoted 3 times and never got pinned by daddy. I mean, like that's a weird state of the union, I guess, if you want to call it. Like it's a weird state to be in, and you're just like, huh, okay, right? Honestly, really, that doesn't really affect me in the aspect of the way that you would think, where it's like, oh man, well, I need this dude to do whatever. I don't really care about that. It's just this weird thing where I want my children to understand that in certain aspects of life, things aren't going to go your way or the way you think they're supposed to go. But your impact is really like, what have you done for those around you that needed your help?
Right. And
that's the legacy.
I think the vainness in both of us, and people call us out for it, I totally get it. But the vainness in both of us, I think eventually when we're old and sitting around a fire and, we have to get up and use our walker to get to the cooler if the cooler gets empty, or, get up to, that we'll probably want to know that impact one day, or if we had an impact.
Yeah.
And call it vain or call it whatever you want, but I think that it's encouraging, and I think that both of us have been encouraged a lot by people reaching out to us and saying, hey, like, your stories are cool. Like the, episode 1 and 2, you had a huge impact. And I feel like that gave you a lot of confidence going forward and kind of propelled this thing forward, that it was like, maybe we should do a podcast. Maybe we shouldn't. And then you started getting the positive feedback, and that gave you confidence to move forward in the whole thing. And, but that was not, you didn't do that to be vain, but the people that reach out and let you know, hey, you had an impact, or hey, I was feeling this way too, but I listened to your story and I realized, hey man, maybe this shit ain't that bad. Yeah. Or so I think knowing the impact, and by no means are we doing this for the the glitz and glamour and the glory of it. But I think it's good to know that, we're having an impact. I think it gives us encouragement to keep moving forward and to keep moving the goalposts and do what we say. We've reached this goal. Let's reset a whole bunch of goals and let's go for those now.
Yeah,
so
I agree with you on that. It's really interesting because we've had many talks, and as much as I am the man that I am, I try to shy away from the limelight. Like, I don't really like it. It's not a thing that I do in my personal life. Like, I just don't care that much. Like, if I could find a way to make $1 bajillion on Hooch and you'd never see my face,
never see it.
You'd never see my fucking face. Like, I'd be out flying falcons and fucking hanging out with bees and hunting with my friends. Like, I don't really
doing
care
all your
about that.
Doing all your exotic hobbies.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the reality is, like,
exotic lands.
If you know me, and you truly do know me, for those in Malad, I grew up in Salt Lake. Like, if
oh shit.
But if you really know me, you know that I'm loud and I'm an extrovert, but at the same time, my place is with my friends and my family, and it's in the woods. Like, I don't care about fucking big cities. I don't care about big crowds. I don't care about the glitz and glam. It's super weird that my face is tattooed on somebody. It's super weird when people ask me for an autograph. That's a fucking trip to me because it's not a thing that I'm used to. And when people like yourself, specifically you, who are like, hey man, it's your face, you're the face of the company, it's hard for me to embrace that because it's not who I am.
Yeah, and it's become part of the thing, right? And part of like the legacy that we're talking about. And I think kind of like taking a back seat to that and just trying to push that forward. I think that is a huge part that the company plays too. And everybody in the company is trying to push forward for that. So yeah, your face is going to be on everything. Like, you're going to be the guy signing autographs and shit like that. And all of us have fun with it. Like, there isn't a single person on the team that doesn't love going and meeting everybody and talking shit and smoking cigars with people and having some drinks and everything like that. And I enjoy when people come up and I don't know who they are and they know who I am. I'm like, oh shit, dude, you know my story. How did you know that?
Yeah, it's weird because you put it out there and then people listen, and I don't know, dude. It's like I always think of like, if you've ever started a primitive fire, right? All you need is a spark and some dry and something to get it going, like some kindling, right?
All right.
And I look at life in this weird way of like, it just took a spark. And for everything the pandemic was or wasn't, I'm leaving it alone because I don't want to get into the fact that it was bullshit. But like, because it was bullshit. Like,
well, it took a big push.
Yeah, like, you literally took away my fucking way of hanging out with people, which was karaoke and drinks, to make me go be greater than I was and focus and try something on my own.
Well, and I think Doc played a big part in giving you that big push forward too. And
well, all of you guys did.
Yeah, I just mean, like, I think Doc was initially there, like, hey, you have to do this. You're an idiot if you don't. And
which is, I'm pretty sure that was like 1 3-finger glass into the first batch, which was straight,
just absolute poison.
Fucking poison. He was hallucinating. We're not really quite sure the full conversation.
He saw into the future, dude.
Yeah,
he
saw
all the paths and like split and was talking to himself around the fire. And then
100% he was Doctor Strange.
He did. He stranged it.
He still is Doctor Strange.
Yeah, dude. He's got his time stone and he's just running through shit. But yeah, I think that'll still go down as at least if it doesn't go down in history, right? If none of us go down in history, it'll be written in our little history, you know, in our Love Me journals and stuff of, hey, we got to make this mark while we were here, and hopefully it has an impact, the impact on our kids, the impact on our families that we want it to. Because I think, at least for me, I'm worried in the aspect of upcoming, we're not going to be home a lot.
Yeah.
And it's already started, right? But in the very near future, I think even just this Texas trip, if we break it down, I think this Texas trip is going to be kind of, okay, we're going. And then like our dance card is already filling up pretty quick for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I think it's super exciting. I'm excited to be there.
Me
but
too.
At the same time, you have that, and you might not have this as much as I do because your kids are older and be a grandpa for fuck's sake, but at some point, very, very soon. But I'm worried that like I'm leaving, the wife and the kids at home a lot, and I know that causes extra stressors, right? So like trying to balance it all and make sure that like I'm here when I'm here because I'm going to be gone a lot and things like that. So I think that's kind of.
I think the hardest part for you is going to be the fact that when we travel, it will be summer a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think the travel is going to be kind of year round, honestly.
Well,
but
I'm
like
saying
there's
like
a
for
lot
like
of
the
stuff that I
major
like to do in the summer.
events.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I like to do in the summer. Being as how, we have like 2.5 months of summer in Utah, trying to pack it all in. But
I'm not really quite sure you're bitching. I got a month and a half up here, bro.
Yeah, I mean, really.
I mean, but you're not wrong. Like, so I was thinking about this because, we do our yearly awards and stuff for the company and whatnot, and it's a pleasure for me to do. I love it. I like handcrafting the things. I like doing that. That's like my way of giving back to those that have propped the company up, right? And by doing so, you're propping me up, which is an interesting dynamic.
Right.
So I was thinking about this, like, I'm not really an awards guy. Like, I have a whole bunch of fucking medals and ribbons. Like, I think I have like 29 or something like that, right? From both branches, and a lot of them are just give me awards. It's not really count them, right? But like, I was thinking, like, what type of award would I ever want inside of our organization? And I think this is something that I think would be like for all of us when we start retiring from being Huchos, right? It would be an award that is organized by those men that you led and presented to you by your family.
I think
that's the most humbling thing you'll ever receive in your life. And before you finish, I think it's the most humbling thing you could ever receive in your life outside of your family's internal whatever you guys do. I think in order to do that, though, you literally have to create a legacy of greatness in your daily and momentary actions. Like, you have to be great and kind and humble and prop the men and women up around you to make sure they're great so that you can actually achieve, maybe that's your goal. For me, that's not my goal. For me, it's like make it so my kids have a path forward in the future,
I think more so than like any like award that anybody could give us, if we retire and, this whole thing kicks off the way we want it to and we end up retiring from it. I think the biggest like pat on the back and award through it all would be creating a culture that continues on the way we set it up, and just having the company continue on with that kind of culture, and that kind of reach out, help people, not just let's see how much money we can fucking make, Like I don't ever want it to be like just make a shit ton of money, and the bottom line is all that matters.
Yeah.
I would much rather it be the culture that we've talked about.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
like,
helping people, propping the waitress up to become, you know, the CEO one day, or
yeah,
you know, something like that, and having that culture, that kind of, you know, try and be legendary, you know, be toxic, you know,
be
like
toxic as
be
fuck. So
be
fucking toxic.
be your fucking man, you know, take criticism, give criticism, don't lie, take
Yep.
care of the people around you. And that's what we mean by stay toxic is don't lie, take care of people, you know, tell the truth, take care
Follow
of
through with
people.
actions. Your word's your
Yeah.
word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's putting a tarp over a fucking trailer.
Goddamn little things.
No. It'll happen right before he comes up. I told him it would be done before he came up. That's what my word was.
You're gonna be standing on the top with a torch trying to melt the snow to put the tarp on it.
No, there's like 55 degrees today.
Yeah, there's no fucking snow. Yeah, it
There's
was
no
like
fucking snow.
it's ridiculous. But no,
Um,
I think that's a huge part, and you know
but
that
if
could
you could
potentially
do
be part of our legacy, right?
no, for sure. And if you do those things, you'll the that award will come, right? I'm just saying it's like if and I should probably uh circle back on what I mean by that. Like to me, like that me like in order to receive an award like that, and I'm not talking like a gimme lifetime achievement fucking bullshit, you stuck it out longer than anybody else award, right? Like
I
I
made it,
can't
bitch. I made it.
I'm still alive, right? But like I mean like that would be the only award that would really mean much to me. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about, because like in order to receive an award like that, you really do have to leave that legacy. You really do have to live what you preach. Like you've got to be that. You've got to teach that so others will emulate it, right? You've got to have your cup full of joy and happiness and kindness and like determination and like sheer willpower to accomplish the goals for those around you,
Yeah.
that
Well, and
you leave that mark.
even using that reference, like the, you know, having that full cup, it's going to be important, you know, moving forward to so you can live that life to make sure that you're refilling your cup, you
Mhm.
know, with those people, those things that you enjoy uh around you too. So, and I think both of like that, you know, I think both of us are pretty well you know, family oriented when it comes to filling that cup up and
100%. Speaking of which,
doing
I'm going to fill my cup up right now.
dude, as we speak,
Yeah.
as we live and breathe. But yeah, I think
Shit.
holy shit, it just came full
Holy
circle, folks. Did you
shit.
see that? I love
That was
when a plan comes together. But yeah, so I think there's a whole lot of different aspects that go into a legacy and go into what we're trying to do as far as, you know, helping people and staying on track with that. And I think that, you know, people that text us and call us and give us that criticism using like Rob as an example, those we're always going to need people like that to try and keep us honest,
hmm
right? To make sure that we're not straying too far off the path, and to make sure that and even like, you know, the boat and Tro and the face and, you know, just everybody that's part of the company, keeping us all on track and keeping us doing what we've set out to do, right? Because I think
yeah.
when things get hectic, it's really easy to forget what
It's
we're trying
it's
to do.
it's really cool because the culture that we have in the organization, whether it's VOC or if it's Bearded Viking Meat Company or the Bearded Viking overall, um, we literally have a unified vision of what we want. And
Hmm.
every person that joins the organization, I don't know how we're doing it, because it's not like I'm screening people hard if they want to join. Like,
Right.
oh, cool, your check cash, great. Want to join? Sweet.
Yeah.
like, I mean, and that's a joke, really, honestly, because the men we have surrounded ourselves with are literally
Well,
like-minded.
they had to believe in us, right? They had to
Yeah.
believe in you. They had to believe in us and what we were doing and the steps that we were taking to accomplish the goals, right?
hmm
And I think that's kind of where we get we get those like-minded people that want to be part of the culture and want to help, propel it forward, so we can have that impact on, the people that we're trying to help, and the people that we're trying to get drunk with the mead company and, and everything else, right?
Yeah.
But and it's important too, because we have a lot of like-minded people too, that we don't end up in a vacuum or like an echo chamber, as far as, hey, no, that's not a good idea. Don't fucking do that. You know what I mean?
I don't think I think that's the best part about the like-minded people, is that there is no yes man.
Yeah,
There's not
that's
one
very true.
person. There's not one fucking like we. And this is a lesson to anybody starting a company, right? Like, so that everybody says don't start companies with friends. We have a unique ability to say, this is business. Here's what I have in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are decisions and conversations that happen here, and we'll be in a fucking straight up argument. I mean, not argument. What is it called? It's a spirited
conversation.
Yes, we'll be in a straight up spirited conversation, and get off the call, and we'll call each other afterwards and be like, hey man, I saw where you're coming from. Just want to let you know, like, I'm emotional about it. This is giving me heartburn. Cool. Same here. This is my take. Awesome. How about them Braves? How about them Niners? Like
Right.
that.
So,
I would just fucking move on. Like,
right. Something totally separate. Yeah.
and like, and it's interesting because it's in the way that we've built the organization, like, is crazy for any of you entrepreneurs. It's a legacy on its own, because if it succeeds, then organizations should be built this way. Like, it really should be, because you're building it with people that can understand that everybody has something to lose.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right? Some more than most others, but they're more committed in different aspects, and hours allocated in a week. Right? Like, we all know that. Right? But we all have something to lose. And there's always skin in the game, whether it's time, effort, or, money. And those things are a thing. Like, money you can get back, but you can't get time or effort back. It's not a thing you can recover. And so, like, those things really matter. And I don't think that in the vocal minority, I don't think that was it vocal? Yeah, vocal minority. I don't think the vocal minority understands anything at all about that. Like, the dude who's sitting on the couch in his home, in his mom's home downstairs, who's 46 years old, who's never left, drinking Code Red Mountain Dew, fucking playing World of Warcraft,
beep, 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 beep.
right? Or fucking GoldenEye and streaming, right? Who has like 6 followers, who's been playing the same video games for 200 years, understands what a legacy is. I think that they have no understanding at all also about the world and the impact that you have on other people by the way you treat them. You only want to be treated, they only want to be treated their way.
Yeah, and I think that comes with, getting outside of comfort zones, learning a whole bunch of stuff, and then having the foresight enough to be like, oh, okay, got to make a change. Like, I can play video games in my mom's basement and eat cheese puffs and stream, but I got to figure out how.
I want my cheesy puffs.
Right? But like, trying to figure out how to make that impactful. And maybe people aren't out there trying to help other people. Right? So I don't know, maybe we just look at it in a different way, a different light. And yeah, it's a booze company, and we're doing it for, to make money and sell booze and stuff like that. But, when it comes to the podcast and stuff like that, we're trying to reach out and help people, and we don't care whether you drink or not. If you're not drinking and you've had a problem in the past and you're dry,
buy a sweatshirt.
Yeah. And do something like that. Comment on the videos and the podcast and stuff like that. Like, that's just as cool. You can still be part of the tribe and not be a drinker. Right?
Bob Campbell has been he's been sober for like 10 years or something like that. And that motherfucker is the biggest meathead I've ever met in my entire life. He's like, it's fucking weird, bro, because like I'm
I don't
out
even
here
drink.
and I don't even drink, and I'm just out here because I love being around you guys, and I fucking love Bob, man. He's like one of the coolest, kindest people ever, and that dude will literally bend over backwards just to help you get a smile on your face in a day, you know. And
Yeah.
that's the legacy. I don't think that people understand what a legacy is. I think that people think like you have to be rich and you have to have power to have a legacy. I don't think that's the case. I think going back off of what you said, most most people have the ability to make a legacy in their local area. Like, you hear tales when you're growing up of the fucking old boys in the hood. In my hood, I was the old boy in the hood. Like I was like, it was a brand new hood. So like we were the old kids, like, like, and we grew up there. And it's weird because like, like maybe you make it, maybe you make an impact there.
hmm
Right. And you don't know what you're going to do or what you're not going to do. You don't know if the person that you help pull a gun out of their mouth and they don't kill themselves ends up writing some sort of philosophy that changes the world, or maybe they're just two dudes in a garage, with a drummer, and they're called the Wild Stallions, bro, and maybe they just fucking save the world.
They just
you know
shred, dude, like
they just
Tenacious
fucking
D.
like, or like, like Bill and Ted and their bogus journey or their excellent adventure, like, be excellent to each other, right? One of the best fucking phrases ever. And you just think, you just don't know what type of impact you have, but you should carry yourself in each and every day in a way that you are constantly positively impacting others. And if you have a negative impact on somebody, you should go and try to have a positive impact. I say that very, very like, kind of, because like there's some people I don't give a fuck about, and that's okay.
Yeah, you can pick and choose your battles for sure. And like, tomorrow isn't guaranteed, right? So
Yeah.
trying to make as much impact today as we can,
Mhm.
because there might not be tomorrow, that type of thing. So I think that's all definitely, the highs and low points of creating some kind of legacy, leaving something behind. And, we've talked about, legacy for our families and legacy for, the company and the business and culture. So I think that, you know, for the listeners, that's probably ends up being a lot to unpack, right? Because
Mhm.
it's a lot for us to unpack. We still haven't unpacked it all yet. We're we'll get there one day, maybe.
We just barely showed up at the house with the moving truck and we unloaded the fridge.
Right. Yeah,
Like the
exactly.
fridge and the beds are installed. They're like
Yeah.
like
And
oof.
that was a struggle.
That was a real hard, like, the fridge didn't fit through the fucking door. Like we
Yeah,
had to
dude.
take off it was a lot of
Had to
work to
take the
get there.
handles off. Yeah.
Had to take the handles off, had to take the doors off, had to look
Yeah.
up a YouTube video on how to do it, like go to YouTube you know.
Yeah. 100%.
Um it it's very, 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 very interesting to me, like these very philosophical conversations that we get into, because we have a very baseline agenda. We do bullet points because we free spot we literally freestyle
Freestyling.
all of it.
Right.
Like we're in a rap battle,
Right. Right.
bomb
Exactly.
spaghetti
Yeah.
like happening
Exactly.
right now, and it's interesting because like none of this, when we get comments, like 95% of the time I don't remember what we talked about because it's just the way I live. It's the way you live. Like I'm like, oh, we talked about that? I didn't realize I was telling my life story again.
Right.
Cool.
Well, it's like you go back and listen to it too, and you're like, oh wow, oh, we didn't suck too bad, or
There's been,
that was yeah. I mean, we've had bad ones too. We've had
yeah,
bad podcasts, right? It's just a given, and we're not going to be perfect at it every time. We're not going to be
not,
philosophical every time,
not trying to
but
though.
no, but like you said, like we're freestyling, and really kind of the thoughts and the input that we have is just kind of what's on our brain, what we're thinking about right then, and how we are living our lives and how we're trying to live our lives. And that's the only advice that we can get is what we know. and what we've experienced and the things that we've been through with it. So maybe that makes it more interesting. Maybe that makes us full of shit. I think time will tell. You know,
it's probably a conversation of interesting shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting down the road.
It's super weird when I go back and listen to random podcasts because I just do a spot check randomly just to see like what we talked about, because I really forget. I really do.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting when Sam and Conrad start like cruising YouTube and find the podcast, and they're gonna be like, "You said what? I didn't say that." No, Dad, it's on this episode. Ah, shit, I did say that.
Yeah, or like they'll be like, "Dad, you're profound." Like they're gonna be like 19,
yeah,
20.
right.
They're gonna be like the 5 pillars of being a man. Profound. How'd you guys do that?
Fucking
no clue.
Came up with it. It was
Sorry.
there. It was there.
What did I say? It'd be like that Will Ferrell.
I blacked out.
God,
what happened?
I blacked out what I said. Like, what happened? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's totally is, but like it ends up. I think it ends up working out because I think we both can speak to different topics intelligently, and have our input from life experience and
it's
shit that we've fucked up.
Yeah, intelligently definitely is a very, very good way to put it, because like we have more intelligence than mayonnaise on most conversations.
Yeah, I mean, we use intelligence very loosely here at Bearded Viking.
Super. It's a very, very wide spectrum, right?
Yeah, like
a single cell amoeba.
Spectrum being the key word.
Like, yeah, a single cell amoeba has intelligence. Like
we might be on the spectrum.
Yeah. It's really good to do that, and like we say all the time, we're not men's mental health professionals. We're advocates for you not to do it, and it's weird because we also get a ton of great feedback from the lady listeners, the females, the women that listen. I applaud you because
you stick through it.
Yeah, and also I did a walking thing there on accident. I heard it. I heard it that time.
Applaud you.
I do. I think we applaud you for listening, and I think we mansplain things pretty well for the men that listen.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's like ugh.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like for the ladies that actually make it through the full podcast, and then they give us feedback. We're like, holy shit, you made it. You made it through all the cussing and grotesque shit that we talk about.
It's real. It's like shocking half the time. I'm like,
yeah. Oh God.
Cool.
Oh shit, that's embarrassing. You lasted the whole time.
You've literally listened to more podcasts than our spouses.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I was given Justine shit. I was like, you never even listen to the podcast. She's like, do you really want me to listen to the podcast? Like, go back and listen to all of them. I was like, no, probably not.
Probably not. No, because she's been around us. Like,
yeah, she's like, you really want me to listen to you and JT talk on the computer? I was like, nah, now that you put it that way, probably not. No,
it's probably better if you don't.
She's like, I've listened to you guys bullshit and come up with dumb shit plenty in real life. I don't need to listen to it on the podcast.
Same. I mean, Vika says the same fucking thing. She's like, I'd listen to 2. It was enough.
Yeah, I'm like, that checks out. That definitely checks out.
That dog hunts too.
But it's not to say that they're not supportive of it, right?
No. They have to live with us. So like there's nothing that we could say is going to be profound.
Do you know how lucky they are because they get to hear how profound we are on a daily basis? All the
time. Like literally black out all the time and be like, I don't know what I say. And I don't understand what that. I think I take scowls and like as like a compliment, like you just said something ridiculously awesome.
Yeah, and like eye rolls. I get a lot of eye rolls.
Oh, dude,
I'm like, that's when I know that I've said something awesome. Right on point. Yeah, totally.
If you can hear the eye roll from 2 blocks down.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, you nailed that topic.
Yeah, like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. Now my eyes are rolling around in my head and they're about to fall out because you just broke my mind.
You have to look backwards at your brain to make sure it's processing the awesome information that they just got from us.
Seriously, epic, like most epic thing ever is when they finally met.
Yeah, it took a while. It took a
It
while.
took a while. It was a couple of years.
Yeah.
Of that. That's an inside joke for everybody, but
Do you know
those that were there.
how much bullshit these women have to go through? It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's especially if we're all in the same place.
Yeah, and yeah, a lot of times they just Irish goodbye.
Every time.
Yeah,
Not a lot of time. Every time.
every time they Irish
Every
goodbye.
time.
I don't want to hang out with you guys.
I think both of them have only hung out with us till the end of the night once each.
Probably, right? It's yeah.
And
It's
even when we were in Bozeman, like they all bounced. They were like, "Nah, man, I'm fucking out." Like all the ladies went inside, and it was like dudes outside. And then it was like, we should talk about business drunk. Don't talk about business drunk.
We should have just slept on the deck.
It would have been better.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, we should have just got hammocks out.
I mean, it was perfect temperatures, so yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
So I think we should wrap up the men's mental health because we've been talking about it. But I really want everybody to think about something. This is the question that I would have for you: is look at your life and where you're at now versus where you were, and look and see if you think that you would leave a legacy today for the people around you, whether that's your kids or your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother. Maybe you don't have any of those, and maybe you only have a best friend. Where would your legacy be if you weren't able to be here tomorrow?
Yeah, or just reach out and figure the kind of good that you can do.
Yeah.
Right?
Be better.
Yeah. I mean, teaching your kids or teaching the people around you or showing your people around you kindness and stuff like that is not that hard.
No.
Shit, I was at the freaking I think what you're saying, that challenge is is pretty good. It's an easy challenge. It's something easy to do. I was at the hardware store the other day with my boys getting some shit from the depot.
Mm-hmm.
There's this old guy trying to put like 9 sheets of drywall in his truck by himself. And I was like, can't do that, dude.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait here, guys. And, helped him put the stuff in there. Walking away, they're like, who was that, Dad? No idea. Funny you asked for his name. I was like, I don't know. I didn't need it. He just needed help, so I helped him.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's easy stuff.
Super simple, basic stuff like that. Impact, like, is extremely important. Like, if you've ever been with me anywhere and I see somebody who's a Vietnam veteran hat, I will go out of my way to tell them welcome home. I will literally stop anything that I'm doing. I'll be in a mid conversation, and I've done this to multiple people, including the CEO of my company, at the company that I work for full time. Like we're in a conversation. We're talking about some future plans for some stuff, and he was asking me an important question. I was like, "Excuse me, hold on 1 second." Vietnam vet walked past. I stopped, walked over, shook his hand, told him thank you for his service, welcome home, and that his generation, they were giants among men. And I came back and he was like, "What was that about?" And I'm like, "I just think that you should tell people how you feel all the time and express gratitude." And he was like, "Weird. Nobody's ever done that to me before." I'm like, "Well, if another Vietnam vet walks in or a World War II vet walks in, just understand, like, my job ain't worth it. I'm gonna go over there and fucking say hi."
Well, it's not that hard. It's not embarrassing.
Mm-mm.
It's just something, it's something easy to do that's gonna change the trajectory of somebody's day.
Yeah. Like, and you don't know you don't know how many breaths you have left. So make them count. Make them count. Like, really, if you wake up tomorrow and you treat a waitress like shit, understand that that's the last thing that person's ever going to remember of you if you don't make it the next day. I don't give a shit about how bad your day is. If you are leaving your house and you're going on a trip, you don't fucking leave that house without saying I love you and goodbye and I'll be home soon. And you're the best thing that's ever happened. Because if you do leave your house, it's no guarantee, even leaving your house, like, you could step off the fucking porch, trip and fall, smack your fucking face and die.
I was gonna say, how many times I've eaten shit just walking around my own house?
Yeah, like in a race or whatever.
I meant by myself, asshole. Totally sober.
So
I won that race.
Okay, whatever. I'm not even an advocate for the person you raised. So like I would like was there.
Whatever.
It's fine. You know what? It was dark.
It was. Nobody could even tell who won.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about some conspiracy stuff?
Dude, I'm in.
Do we have time?
Dude. No, because we do. Because we got bitched at for like an hour and 45-minute fucking podcast by so many of you guys. Nobody actually. I'm like surprised because I didn't think that anybody actually listened all the way to the end.
Right. The stats are not true.
I think that the stats are only like, especially on YouTube where they record how long you're actually on it. But if you get off of the YouTube and you come back to that minute mark, it picks up again, and that's when it records your next fucking session.
Yeah, it doesn't even count as a unique.
A eunuch?
A eunuch.
A
eunuch.
Those are people too.
They are. Poor people.
Yeah. If I ever lose my balls to cancer, I'm gonna get ball bearings in place so that when I walk, they clank.
Ching, ching.
That way you know I'm coming.
You should get like one of those little like, never mind. We'll just
I'm not losing my balls to cancer. That's not gonna happen.
I'm just saying, you're like a fucking big ass noodle. Anyway.
That's fair.
So, do you want to take a trip back to Antarctica?
Dude, we've been here. It's cold outside. I'm in. Like, fuck it.
Dude.
3 weeks in a row. Okay, let's recap lightly. Antarctica is where a lot of weird shit happens. Right? And in the history of Antarctica, like 10,000 years ago, Antarctica flash froze, maybe not 10,000, like 20,000, whatever. Flash froze as the tectonic plate shifted. And
maybe that's how it flash froze. I mean, that would have to be pretty like instantaneous. And we know that tectonics are pretty slow.
Well, okay. Let's get into Antarctica. There's a lot of weird shit that happens on it. That's the fucking recap.
Right. So like, it's all good podcasts do. We take, stuff from ones that we love, like the Sean Ryan show. And Sean Ryan is gracious enough to let us use his, clips and stuff from his show, as long as,
piggyback.
Hashtag piggybacking Sean Ryan. And, as long as you give the dude a shout out, like that's his jam. He's cool about that. And he's got a lot of really good guests.
And crazy guests. Holy fuck, man.
And if your algorithms are as fucking crazy as our algorithms, then you'll know that Billy Carson was on his podcast, just his newest one. And the guy's got like 3 books out. And, he's buddies with, we've talked about Stephen Greer. And he's, buddies with him or acquaintances with him. Mm-hmm. And he got put on the Sean Ryan show. And
I believe the term is accepted an invite.
Accepted an invite to the Sean Ryan show.
Hashtag Billy Carson, join our show too.
Right? Just call in, bro. But he's pretty freaking, he's like, his intelligence is insane, dude.
Bro, he is on the level of a savant. Like, I was listening to just some short clips because I was trying to figure out what I was going to listen to after I got done listening to fucking economic people talk. Not today, this week, right? Mm-hmm. And like, I'm going to digress real quick on one piece on this because I want to give everybody an idea of like the level of thought this man puts into the world, right? So in the same show, about, 30-ish minutes away from where you're at in your show, he starts talking about artificial intelligence, which also links back to Antarctica. We'll get there in a second. But he said in like 1996 or 1997, 14 college students put together a video game Okay, that's good. So this video game that these guys made has 8 quadrillion planets in it, and there is no end to the game. You just play it forever, and you build your life, and you live your life, and the game without AI creates and generates different types of beings, like organisms. And so he asks the question, so can you imagine if you put AI in there where it started thinking for itself and it becomes conscious with inside the video game and it starts imparting knowledge to these non-player interaction, what are they, MPIs, whatever the fuck those are called.
Oh, NPCs. Yeah.
NPCs, yeah. And all of a sudden they now start free thinking and they develop an AI or a video game on their own that they start playing. And then they put the AI inside of that video game. And so it's, you get this, he's like, what ends up happening is you have layers upon layers upon layers of multiple universes that aren't even dimensions. They're just, your universe is this, and the universe that you have, the universes you have inside of that are this and this and this and this and this and this. And you're like, holy, who the fuck thinks of that?
Right.
Like,
it's like layers upon layers upon layers.
Is a sample of his intelligence to speak what you're saying. But tell me what he said about Antarctica.
Well, and he was talking about, I think he was talking about Egypt, and he was talking about how like Antarctica is wrapped into it, and the way everything was before the flood, and the technologies before the flood. And he's not just pulling this shit out of his ass, he's pulling it off of like historical tablets that have been found. So he's like, he references the tablets, and you can literally go and pull them. And I think he said UC State, you can go and put a picture of the tablet on there, and their AI will completely translate it for you. He said go out there and read them for yourself and translate them and understand them how you want to understand them, and basically come up with your own opinion. He's like, I don't care if it's different from mine. He's like, the information is out there. Anybody can go see it. You don't need to be some, crazy scholar to interpret, these several different languages. And I think he talks about like 7 or 8 different tablets.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how, we've talked about how we thought the pyramids were just big energy generators and power generators, and he explains how all of that shit worked. And
it's fucking wild when he starts talking about, because you're like, how's this guy still alive?
Right. And like all the stuff, like as far as the way he explains it and the chemical reactions that happen with these certain different elements that he's speaking about, I mean, it all checks out. Like it's legit. And the way
I just want to have the amount of time that it takes to fucking study that without having to have a constraint for a job.
Well, and the man has written 3 books on it too. And it, like, his website is Forbidden Knowledge.
Yeah, I was actually going to say it. I got pulled up too.
Yeah, his website is forbiddenknowledge.com. But I mean, he literally goes through in the first like 25 minutes of the podcast how they generated power with the pyramids, and the Nile basically ran underneath or very close to, so it could be diverted underneath the pyramid, and it basically ran off of hydrogen. It created hydrogen, and then the hydrogen was stored and used, and it created power. And the obelisks were like little substation receivers, and they were all around the world. Some were for communication, some were for power generation. And now there's a bunch of stuff that's coming out that there's some pyramids that they found in Alaska. And then there's the pyramids that were found in Antarctica. And Sean Ryan's had some guests on that were down in Antarctica and, had keys to all the bunkers and all the dumbs. Yeah, the whistleblower. Yeah. And there's a whole lot to unpack in all those shows. Kind of, it blows me away because all this stuff, we talk about Antarctica and how it's special, and there was life and all kinds of stuff there, and technologically advanced people there. And it all kind of wraps in with what he's saying and what happened in Egypt and even what's here with
Eric Hecker, by the way, is the whistleblower.
Is it whistleblower?
Yeah.
And he talks about the pyramids here, and same thing. Some were communication devices, some were power generators. There was some that were in the United States, or currently, what's called the United States. There's a bunch in South America, peppered all over. So I mean, they were all legitimately like this gigantic power grid that powered whatever the hell they were powering. And it's like, and it's like the forbidden knowledge part. He said he even went into talking about like the Freemasons and stuff like that, and how there's only a few that still know the forbidden knowledge. There's some members that they're just members of the Freemasons, and they're good enough with that. But there's actually some that hold the knowledge and
the key.
the keys to all of it.
It's interesting because I wonder how much of that knowledge, when you start really getting into it, right? I wonder how much of that knowledge was actually kept in the Library of Alexandria before it burnt down. And there's on that note, right? So during that time, Rome was known, right? Like the Roman Empire was known, and it knew about the different types of pyramids and such. But like, there's no understanding of what happened with the Library of Alexandria. The theory that I have, which may be somebody else's theory, maybe I heard it, I don't know. I fucking watch a lot of conspiracy shit because of you. But the theory that I have now is that the Library of Alexandria was actually destroyed by the librarians. It was lit on fire on purpose to ensure that Rome didn't receive the power, because Rome was a sweeping evil in their mind, because they believed that the Caesars that took the power away from the people would do that for the world, for all the free thinking people in the world. And it's a fucking trip, because you go to South Africa or South America, and you see that there are fucking pyramids there. Like, it's not even fucking, like, it's not even hidden. Like, the Mayans pyramids are just a little bit different, right?
Like the biggest pyramid in the world is down there.
Yeah.
Until they decide they're going to admit that the one in Bosnia is an actual pyramid.
Right. Well, and you have like all these old world things where there used to be like all of these old monoliths, right? How the fuck did they get there? Like, how did we move? Like, people want to sit here and be like, oh yeah, well, it was an engineering feat where they rolled these big giant granite blocks over 200 miles over to stack them on top of each other with elephants that they got from the fucking Far East of blah blah blah. It's like, man, you're telling me that these dudes created these pyramids with hand chisels, like wooden mallets and fucking iron or what? And they're
it wasn't even iron tools.
Yeah, like they're put together so tight that you can't fit like even a business card through in between these things. You're fucking crazy. No way. Not fucking real.
Well, and what he was saying too is like a lot of it was already there. They were rebuilding it after the flood. So
yeah,
I think that there was definitely some knowledge in Alexandria in the library before it burned down. But I think that maybe all of it wasn't in there, because I've read stuff that it said like, the burning down of the Alexandria library set the human race back like 500 to 1,000 years
easily.
But based off of like the tablets and stuff that he's translated and found, and got his working knowledge off of, a lot of that stuff was already there. They were trying to rebuild after the flood.
It makes sense too, like, because in every single civilization that's ever been known, along with fucking Sasquatch, there's always a flood and a serpent thing that marks the sky.
Yeah, so I think that maybe a lot of that generation was lost. And he talks about how there was basically, a big family, and the family was fighting, and the family was warring against each other, and it had to do with Atlantis too.
Mm-hmm.
And he said there was definitely a battle in Egypt. He's like, because you can go to the sand and pull up beads of glass, and he's like, how hot it has to be to generate glass from sand. And he's like, people aren't just walking around breaking bottles in the middle of the freaking desert. So
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage people to go look at his books, listen to that podcast, and just kind of further your it's not even really, to me it's really not even like a conspiracy, but further your knowledge on it, because I feel like it's real, it's true. There's so many signs that are pointing to it. And he even talks about now how we're finally getting back to the point where we can get back to space, because that was one of the things that happened, is we were forbidden from going back to space, and until we can regain the knowledge. And yeah, he was even talking about like it takes like 33,000 times the speed of sound to even break through the atmosphere and to get into space. He's like, and now we can finally do it. So I would definitely encourage people to go listen to that shit, because it's going to open up a whole train of thought that you may have never had.
It's super interesting for me, because like, growing up, you read about Antarctica in like the Encyclopedia Britannica. This is before you YouTube kids and like the free internet. Like you had to buy your knowledge, like or go
you had to
rent
check
it,
that shit out from
check
the
it in the
library.
Yeah. And it's so crazy, because like it was very, like, you go back and you look at those books and you're like, oh, this was definitely um pre-scripted by the gov, by the feds, by whatever fucking world entity that is above them. Like whether or not people want to admit it, it's a real thing. And like he goes into like those Freemasons, and he explains where the Rothschilds came from, which is a fucking trip. They're worth like $700 trillion.
Yeah.
Like
that was insane the way he explained that. And I was like, holy shit, like I got to look this up.
And you start looking at it, and there's not a flaw in his logic, Oh, you're switching. You're mixing.
Going with the conspiracy.
You're mixing darks and lights, huh?
Yeah, might as well. Hey,
fuck it.
You got to live your life, man.
Yeah, but it's fucking crazy when you start going down the path of what Antarctica is, because my goal, it's the only continent I've never been to. And like, when the company's up, we're going to have a fucking meetup in Antarctica.
Well, there's a reason why they don't want people going there.
Yeah, I mean, like you get $10,000, you get a cruise for two, you go through the fucking Patagonias, which is super cool, and then you drop down and you get to fucking go to the Arctic shelf for a day.
Yeah,
like you ain't going in past the fucking parallel. You ain't going into inner Antarctica, because if you start walking in there, they can't tell you what's going to be in there, whether it's fucking ancient like arachnids, which I know that you're out on.
I mean, who the fuck knows? But I think that who knows, if the O2 is higher there, then animals are going to get bigger, arachnids are going to get bigger. Like only the people that have gone there know, right? So it's hard to be like totally out on anything. Using docs, it's plausible, because who the fuck knows? They won't let us go down there.
Well, and the other thing about it too, it's super weird to me, right? So if we're really experiencing global warming, and all of these things were flash frozen, there's so many critters in the world that if they experience like a flash freeze of any kind, they just inanimate. And then they come back to life, like a hibernatic state where the heartbeat beats, like an alligator, whatever.
Like an alligator or crocodile, yeah.
Or a frog, to fucking reference Jurassic Park. Like any of them. Like, so now we're down there fucking around, and like how long is it till some sort of ancient fucking plague fucking comes back? Like a real plague.
How could it be that everything for like an event like that movie, what is it? Day After Tomorrow?
Day After Tomorrow, yeah.
Where everything flash freezes like in an instant. It had to have been something like that. I mean, you have woolly mammoths that were found in the ice with food still in their mouth, and this is like more than one occasion.
Yeah.
So it's like how the fuck does that happen, dude?
Yeah, I don't even fucking know because like my brain doesn't want to know. I mean, it got negative 35 last week here and negative 51 last year over Christmas. And I'm like, that was really fucking cold and nothing flash froze. Like, think about that. Think about that.
That's what I'm saying is like it takes a lot.
For the UK listeners, last December on Christmas Eve, because y'all don't use real fucking things, or maybe America doesn't. I'm not going to admit that though. So for negative 51 degrees Fahrenheit, that is negative 46 degrees Celsius, right? So, and like at negative, what is it? Negative 60. Like that's when you can throw a hot water outside and it instantly crystallizes. Like you can pee outside and it will fucking crystallize. But that's that's 9 degrees. Like my dick ain't even gonna experience that cold. Like I'm gonna pee inside.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't gonna happen.
I'm just gonna pee my pants if I'm outside. Yeah. I ain't pulling it out.
For real. And so you're talking like a flash freeze. It's got to be like
all at once
200 or more.
Yeah, like it's insane. You're literally. I mean, even when you're talking about like freeze drying food, that still takes quite a bit of time, depending on the weight and what type of food you're freeze drying, right? So to basically flash freeze everything in basically an instant, like that takes some power, dude. That takes a lot. I mean, you're not talking, Mr. Freeze from Batman just shooting his freeze ray or whatever. You're talking like some serious shit.
Yeah. I'm going to look it up real quick.
What would it take to flash freeze something?
Yeah, like because like right now they're using liquid negative 196 in Celsius.
Oh wow. So
that is fucking crazy.
That is not warm, my friends. That is not warm.
So negative 196 is negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's insane. That's so cold.
Like, and it would have to go, understand this, like that temperature drop has to happen in milliseconds.
Yeah, in an instant. You can't just gradually get up to that.
No. Like, and if there's no way.
There's so many civilizations across the world, and Randall Carlson talks about it, and it's talked about in that documentary on Netflix. What is it? Ancient Discovery. Mm-hmm. That there was tons of cave dwelling civilizations that they went underground, and they were living and growing food underground, and then eventually they came back to the surface.
They found that one that was in China that China doesn't release anything, so I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But like they found that one in China that was a full on like underground huge cavernous place that was constantly at like
65 degrees or something.
Yeah, and like there were places for crops to be that they found where crops could be grown and everything else. And you're like, well, crops have to be grown if there's light. Photosynthesis does not happen without light. Never has, never will.
So they had to have been creating some kind of light source, some kind of heat source, some kind of hydroponics had to be happening down there.
Yeah.
It couldn't just be log fires, because you couldn't even start a fire all the time, because how are you going to go out and collect more wood to burn to create a fire?
You ain't fucking cutting down an ice tree. That ain't fucking happening.
Dead dog don't hunt.
They don't even, according to current known history, they didn't have chainsaws. So you're going to tell me you're going to spend time in negative 300-degree temperatures?
Yeah.
You're fucking crazy. There's no way. They had to have had a fucking, like,
lasers.
I believe it's lasers.
Yes.
Right? Mini me. Yeah. You complete me.
So what he's saying too is about how, there was a civilization that there was people that were already on Earth, and then there were civilizations that came from outer space, and those were the ones that got in a fight and fucked it all up.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually makes a lot of sense when you read and hear stuff talking about how, humans are actually designed better to take heat than cold, and to live in a place to live in cold rather than heat, or to live further away from the sun than we live now. And that's why people still go out and they get sunburned.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's harder for humans to adapt to heat than cold, because you can layer up in the cold, but you can't layer down in the heat.
Fucking heat.
Because the Earth is so close to the sun.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be an example of that. Like, the hardest time there's the crab legs incident, but like the hardest time I've ever had was when I was overseas. And yeah, you can put on layers to protect you. That's what all the like all the Arabs do, right? They put on a lot of layers, and that's fine and all. But you stay, like, you're not going to maintain homeostasis in the human body if you're too hot, because your body will shut down. Same thing with cold, but you can layer up on the cold. You can have added things in the cold that you can't have in the heat. Like, that's not a thing. So like, the reality to me, and it's a weird thought process shift, right? So you have known history, which is what the history books tell us
we gotta think. Yeah,
right.
What we're told.
Right. And then you have unknown history, is what we think, and then what history is which is real history. And that's somewhere in between the two.
Do you think Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think if we took, let's say 35 kids from the age of kindergarten to the age of 18, and they were taught alternative history, right? So the real sciences and the way things work from the age of, kindergarten to the age of 18, do you think that we would have a gigantic scientific leap forward? Because I do.
I think so. There's an actor who's who talks about it, and let me get his name real quick.
But I think this stuff is crazy, and he's talking about using the hydrogen frequency to send and receive signals. And he was talking about it with the pyramids, how they were using hydrogen and how it was receiving power, generating power, and sending signals using hydrogen. And that's how we're sending signals into space, is because hydrogen is the most prevalent thing in the universe. So they're basically using hydrogen atoms and the frequency of hydrogen atoms to send and receive radio signals, basically. There is fucking insane. But it's not the first time I've heard it.
No, it's not. I mean, the reality is it's just this weird.
It's science fact. It's not even fiction. It's not conspiracy if it's a fact, right?
Yeah. I mean, really. So the actor, I think it's Terrence Howard. Let me just double check this real quick. So I saw him on a podcast, and the dude, yeah, it's Terrence Howard. So you might remember him from movies such like as Awake, right? or I'll pull up the IMDb so everybody knows a real movie.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of good
He's in
movies.
Hustle and Flow. He's in Four Brothers. He's the brother in or the dude in Four Brothers who sells I think sells the family's shit, or he gets in bad. Anyway, so but like so he even challenges modern day math, and
Yeah.
he goes into it, right? And so he talks about like 4 times 1 doesn't mathematically add up. And he goes, no, it's a, yeah, 4 times 1 equals 4. And then like the square root of 4 is 2, but 2 times 2, he like goes down this like whole path. And like, I wish I had the context better than I do now, because I wasn't really thinking about this, but it's real, because he starts going in and he disproves like 4 times 1. Like he literally mathematically disproves it based off of mathematical law. And you're like, what the fuck just happened?
I've seen some interviews with him, and he seems like a pretty intelligent dude. But
It's like, maybe it's like 2 times 1, but
he's
yeah, it's like he's like, take the square root of 2 times 1. Take the like 2 times 1 equals 2. Take the square root of 2, multiply it by 2, and it doesn't come back the same number or something like that. I can't remember.
I've seen some interviews with him, but I think it's hard for people like him to come out and do, I guess, show the things that they know and like the intelligence that they've gained without endangering their career, right?
Well, everything around, well, beyond that, right? Because like you're talking about like the career is one aspect, right? But if you can prove it mathematically, then that's a different story, right? But you're literally challenging the construct of humanity as we know. And so when you do that, and if you can mathematically prove it, like the kid who solved the time travel theory um, down in Australia, like when you come out and you do that, then you now have a mark on you by those in power. And that in itself is why people don't talk about Antarctica.
Well, there's so many like sketchy organizations out there, and this is fucking weird, totally unrelated. But I was going to bed last night and I was watching the show on A&E about like, I don't remember what the fuck it was called, but or what the fuck the name was exactly, but it was about like the polygamists and like how they've laundered money, and like it was like the true crime about what the fuck they did, and it's a
Mhm.
series. Dude, they were like offing people and killing people that were coming out to try and tell the truth, and they have like this company that's supposedly making biodiesel that is not making any biodiesel, but they've been showing profits because they owned a bank, and they've been showing profits to the federal government and made like $500 billion over the course of like 10 years. And then they had people within the federal government, like into the FBI. So when they went to go do the raids, all the shit was gone that proved that they were shady. And like people were getting killed. And like you have like organizations like that, like the Pligs that are doing shit like that. And then you want to come out with an equation that's going to blow up the world, and you don't think you're going to get dead?
You're crazy. Like it's the whole like circling back to Stephen Greer and the 0 point energy and all that. Like this is all like the more that we do this portion of the show, whether it's paranormal or this, the more the web becomes intertwined and it's easy to connect the dots. And it's not like I'm reaching. It's not like I'm fucking Jim Carrey in 23, where everything equals 23,
No,
right? It's
and the thing
not.
is I mean, fucking, Billy Carson legit just tells you how to make 0 point energy with a certain type of granite
Yeah.
and
And
water.
a quartz stone and
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
Boom.
just absolutely mind-blowing. And if you could get your hands on the right stuff, you could literally do it. You could power a city. But nobody's going to let you. Nobody's going to
No,
let you. You freaking charges start showing up on your credit card to try and buy certain types of quartz and granite, and somebody's going to be knocking on your door. especially when you leave the hose on for too long and all of a sudden the neighborhood's lit up. You know, like it's just they make it impossible for you to break away.
Well, I think going back to what you'd said is now like we're getting to the point where we can go back to space when we earn it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. You have like the dark entity above everything that's running the world, whether it's the Rothschilds or whoever's above them. Because like if you go off the Star Wars theory, there's always like one
There's
more,
always
right?
somebody. Yeah.
There's always one
one more.
more,
Yeah.
right? There's always that, right? And like the thing about that is it's absolutely true from everything that I've seen, right? There's always a puppet master.
Oh yeah.
Who's
Well,
the
and you know,
who's the puppet master's master,
well,
right?
and
Like,
he brought up such a good point, and it was something that was in the news, and then it was immediately out of the news, and I had forgotten about it until he brought it up. There, we have a U.S. naval ship that can go out, and it never has to be refueled, and it's not nuclear powered. It generates fuel off of the water. It
yeah.
creates the hydrogen out of the water, stores it, and uses it as fuel. I take that back. I think it has a mini reactor on it to start the process, and then after the process is started, it doesn't even need it anymore. It's literally going through and burning hydrogen.
Well, and the crazy thing about all of this, right, is like so we've talked about like the fact that there's actually like dudes now, like many dudes have finished their service in the Space Force. And they're
Uh-huh.
like there's like a dude who hacked into like was it NSA or something like that, and like there's all these naval ships with
Yeah, no, that
entire
was a guy from the
crews.
UK. That was a
Yeah,
guy from the
UK.
UK.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
right? And like there's entire crews with dates of service and everything else for ships that don't exist, right?
Right.
And if you're talking about the Space Force, then and realistically, like we're classifying them as an underbranch of the Air Force right now, but they've never been classified as that anywhere ever. So the Space Force is a facade, so that
For
way we can
spending
start,
money.
yeah, for spending money for these other things that are actually a dark branch of the Navy. And it's like this weird fucking like it's the shell game.
Well,
Like
yeah,
you
and
don't if you
the
shuffle it
way
enough, you don't know where it's at.
well, and the way he explains it is they're trying to get away from being able to people being able to do a FOIA and get information on the projects and the money of where it's going, and it's just going to these big corporations like
Hmm.
Skunkworks and Boeing and all these big military
Hmm.
industrial complex, and you can't FOIA a private company.
Yeah.
You're never going to know where those billions and trillions of dollars are going, and it's probably into space, but you'll never fucking know it.
Right. Like we've probably had the technology for a long time. I bet you we stole it, figured it out, whatever the case may be. And like now we're starting to see all of this stuff coming back. And the question that I have is when you start seeing these things that are falling out of the sky with that look like, the scenes from Transformers in fucking in Florida or
Mm-hmm.
wherever they're at, right? Are those aliens or are they just our service members coming home? Like, is that a fucking transport ship that
Right.
went
Well, and
that we're
it's just like what we talked about in one of the first episodes. It's like that quote, the deathbed confession from Ben Rich, saying that we had the technology to take ET home, and we're 200, 300 years ahead of where Star Trek is. And I'm loosely quoting that, but I mean that's what he said. He said
yeah.
we could take ET home.
And I still go back to like the whole I put in the wrong Google Maps coordinates and I fucking ended up in fucking in Miami because like that's the only thing that makes sense. Like they're not just gonna appear there. I mean, I still think that Antarctica is the port of entry for the Earth, and it's a treaty that was signed. And when people go deviate from it, or when these beings deviate from it, they end up elsewhere. And it's like,
I think it's definitely somewhere where they can just unabashed work on whatever the fuck they want, fly
mhm.
whatever they want, and develop anything,
And
because nobody's there to see it, nobody's there to stop them,
yeah, and
and
like and same like that same theory works too for ETs. It really
yeah,
does. Like think about it. Like it's not like we probably have the ability to defend Earth from some things, but not from all things. So when your enemy is stronger than you, until you get stronger than your enemy, what do? You create an alliance or treaty, right? Like Eisenhower fucking signed treaties with all sorts of shit.
And the thing about the defense of Earth is, we might not even know how many times it's been defended, but because we'll never know the technology. But who knows? It could have been defended multiple times just in the last, 20 years.
Like
but we have no idea.
We don't even know how many times Bruce Willis went on to a fucking asteroid and literally defeated the asteroid by drilling a hole in it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And yeah. And I don't know if you saw this or not, but Dugway has been selected as Boeing's new launch and recovery site for their rocket ship.
Well, I just want to let you know that I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I'll miss you, baby.
And I don't want to miss a thing.
Facts. And like for the listeners that made it this far, right? So like, I don't even think these are conspiracies because like.
No, it's like science facts.
Oh yes, it's not. I mean, over the past 3 years, it's not even conspiracy anymore, because like the past 3 years, we have, as I guess quote unquote conspiracy theorists, we have been proven right on like 95% of the things that we said. What the fuck? Like there's definitely 5% that I'm like, okay, weird. The other thing that you have to take into account too is like, in right before 9/11, Dick Cheney. Yeah, Dick Cheney announced.
No, it was Rumsfeld.
It was Rumsfeld? It was Rumsfeld? Yeah. I always get the two mixed up. The same tomato.
Same asshole.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, same fucking rich prick who got rich off of fucking heroes. So like Rumsfeld fucking announces that we lost what, $3 trillion? $3 trillion?
I think it was like $6 trillion.
$3 trillion is on it. Well, I want to say it was 3, but whatever. A minimum trillion, minimum one, right? $1 trillion were missing, and then a quote unquote airplane crashes into the Pentagon accounting section. But all the videos that they had that were released because of the FOIA show no airplane crashing into the Pentagon. It's looks like a missile crashing.
No, it's you're right. It's 3.
Yeah, $3 trillion. Just we don't know where it went.
Up in smoke, bro.
Yeah,
in space.
Up in space. Like, what are you protecting us from? And like circling back to like the whole like now we're ready to go to space. Well, at the same time, now humanity, because of like social media and stuff, we're no longer buying the bullshit that everything's putting out there, right?
The door's cracked. The dog can't get in. He's losing his shit. It's funny.
That's awesome.
Sorry.
So like humanity can't, like they can't contain us anymore. So the puppet master and the puppet master's master fucked up by letting us get in social media, because they can try to like they tried to get to the point where they were like shadow banning people. And now you're not shadow banning anymore because we know when you're shadow banned.
Well, and now they're trying to cut. They're trying to do like a geofence on certain information in certain websites.
Yeah.
I mean, Utah's a perfect example. They've geofenced gambling websites for sports. And Pornhub apparently.
And Montana.
But they haven't gone out and like banned the pligs for making fake biodiesel and making $500 billion off of tax credits. So the whole cabal, man, they're trying to hold everybody back from gaining this forbidden knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And it's I wonder how much money they spend is it government trying to keep all that information locked away.
Well, and now there's
it can't be cheap. It can't be cheap.
No, and the Pandora's box has been opened, because now you have like these freedom platforms and you have all this other stuff, because once somebody learns something, then they pass the knowledge on. It's global economics 101, which is funny because I didn't mean to bring that into this, but but there's the knowledge transfer, they call it a knowledge spillover, right? So you start in one firm, let's call it MySpace, and then it spills over into Facebook, and then from Facebook it spills over. People leave that organization, they start up their own organizations, and next thing you know, you're expanding this exponentially and you're growing it out. One thing that you all need to know is that both of us are mentally stable-ish, but none of us want to fucking die.
No,
So,
none of us.
and if you're one of the people who are listening in DC or wherever you're listening to us from that doesn't like us, that's okay. We don't get views. Go bug somebody else.
And the thing is too is podcasts are creating I think, not all of them, but some of them are creating a totally new news platform.
Oh yeah.
And a totally new way of gaining and sharing information. And that's one thing that is harder for them to stop, right? Is because it's kind of like anything. Once the freaking torch is lit, man.
Go back to that spark, man. Leave your
Yeah.
mark.
And that's the thing is like this knowledge transfer and sharing knowledge it's insane. But it has to be shared, dude, or we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to end up in this same bullshit rut or another, reset. And, that doesn't always end well.
You might as well just let Gus in real quick.
Dude, I want him to do it himself. Like I want like the doors open like this much and his body's like this big. Like he can get through. He's like psyching himself out.
That's funny as shit. So, I agree with you, and I think that we as a people need to. And this is gonna be a weird statement because I never thought in my life that I would actually state this. We need to follow France's fucking role. France literally said "fuck you" in your taxes, "fuck you" and all of your other shit. Like they started, all the farmers just started showing up and fucking spitting manure at everybody.
It's
And the
happening in
reality,
Germany now too.
yeah, I mean it's catching fire, man. Like in the words of the Hunger Games, man, we don't comply. Like we don't need to comply. And when you think about where society is versus where it could be, you literally have to sit down and think for like half a millisecond of like the free thought folk and the sheep, and you have to segregate them. And like here's the thing, in one aspect you can be a sheep, and in another, and a very second after that you could be a free thought person.
Mm-hmm.
It's super weird. Like
it takes one thought and one like mental connection to just completely sever you from like that system. And all that shit's going on in Europe right now, in France, Germany, and I think it's the Netherlands as well.
yeah.
But if you go and look on any U.S. news, Fox, CNN,
They don't want it
MSNBC,
here.
Newsmax, even whatever the fuck the QAN or whatever the fuck it is, or nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this shit right now, the news. There is nothing about the revolutions that are going on right now in France, Germany, even the UK. There's nothing because they don't want that spark to catch.
No, they're fucking.
The United States is their worst fucking nightmare because if that spark catches here, they're all out of a job. They're fucked.
Yeah, there is no more power for it, and we go back to small power, like small, localized, very small government, right?
Yeah.
Like all of your fucking restrictions and all that shit go away. You don't get your fucking dollars for fucking liquor licenses. Like you don't get that anymore because
Yeah.
now your free thought place. And like it's funny because everybody thinks like they're free. Americans number one of all, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not. But we ain't free. Free means free.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and that's the thing. Until you don't have to pay taxes for everything and everything that you do. You're not free. Now I get it. Some things, improvements in your community and stuff like that costs money. But
yeah,
25% of my fucking paycheck that I work
25
for
if you're lucky.
shouldn't go to the government in
Nah,
any
man.
way, shape, or form.
Dude, you're looking by the time you pay income tax, property tax, tax on goods, you're looking at 50 to 60% of your income.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah,
and
you might as well be the sheriff of fucking Nottingham, dude, trying to come around and get my fucking tax
for
dollars.
real.
Dude.
And that's a weird fucking weird thought, because like you really sit down and you think about it and you look at what we quote unquote fought for, and you're like, huh, that's a fucking weird thing. Because when you get out, now you're a weird Vietnam 2.0 vet, and you're like, nah, man, the Fed is dumb. It's bullshit. It's a lie. It's a fucking lie. It's the greatest lie ever sold.
Yeah, I shouldn't be paying interest or taxes to the government for the house that I purchased. I could pay interest to the bank that gave me. I understand that. That makes sense. Yeah. They have to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it should not be the Fed that sets the interest rate. It should be the local economy that sets the interest rates. Mm-hmm. And I shouldn't have to pay taxes on cars that I already bought. Like, I should not receive a letter in the mail every fucking year to register all the shit that I have. If it fucking runs, drives, and it's safe, nobody should. I shouldn't, you know what I mean?
No. I mean, we're all on the same page, and the part that terrifies the puppet master's master is we're waking up. As a population, we're waking up. And whether or not you're left, right, or in middle, or green, or purple, or whatever you are, like, you have to understand, like, you're starting to wake up. Like, we're in the Matrix.
Well, by the way, it has to happen faster, though. It has to happen faster. That way, they can't find a way to corral everybody back to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they don't want that European spark that's kind of leading the way right now, because if that spark catches and takes hold here, dude, it's over. It's absolutely over for them.
6 guns behind every blade of grass.
Oh, dude.
6 guns.
Game over.
Game over. So, all right, we should wrap it up, because it's been a great cast. We've been running on a good streak. I feel like we're on a hot streak right now with these casts.
Are we? Just rolling the dice.
Last week was a great cast. It was very, very structured and organized and went load. Which is hard, because like we're trying to bring guests on, and like, if you're going to be a guest, you need to listen to the podcast so you can understand how we flow. You got to start looking at like social cues, which none of us look at anymore, because we don't give a fuck about other people and their cues. In their phone. So I think it's time to wrap it up. I want to do a couple quick shout outs, as always. So we shout ourselves out all the time for the Bearded Viking, but really, realistically, if it wasn't for the Bearded Viking Mead Company, Bearded Viking culture, none of this would be happening. So if this is our legacy, this is a great legacy. Shout out to Boss Graphic Design, and hopefully one day soon, in-house Boat, who gets paid to work here instead of volunteering his time. I want to give him a huge shout out, because he has really been one of the key components to making this.
He's he's the backbone of the podcast for sure.
Yeah, and even of the org, right? Like, he shows up and does shit and doesn't bitch. He just keeps going. So huge shout out to Rudy over there. If you need something designed for him, for yourself, or whether it's a logo, or you want like some sort of social media branding, or you want a branding guide for your org, reach out to him. He'll be linked at the end, I think, or in the bio, for wherever. Buy some swag from us for right now. Like, yeah, we know we're a mead company that doesn't sell mead for now. That's coming to a close. That chapter is fucking finally closing. It's a long ass chapter. It's like literally reading Genesis, if you are Christian, or reading the story of Ragnar Lothbrok, and all the different things. If you're a pagan, and it's a long book that's in a book, right?
A book in a book.
Yeah. I want to do a shout out to Mars, up here in Bozeman. Reach out to Marty over at Mars. He'll take good care of all of your detailing or aftermarket needs for any of your vehicles. And if you own a plane, I'm surprised you're listening to us, but he also details all the private jets that come into Bozeman.
Would you say that he will give it a good scrub-a-dub-dub?
He'll definitely touch you on the insides.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I bet he conditions leather too.
He definitely does. He's got all the right lotions.
He looks like a good leather conditioner.
He absolutely is.
Love you, Marty.
Yeah. And then a shout out to all of our listeners. Do us a favor. It would be really epic if you guys could either share a Bearded Viking post on your own timeline, or if you could share this podcast, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or Pandora or Apple or whatever. I'd like to increase our reach so we can start helping others even more. And that's it, man. That's a fucking great podcast.
That is it.
Yeah. With that being said, folks. Oh, I have one last shout out actually before.
Oh.
Today is my daughter's 16th birthday.
Oh yeah. The B.
Yeah. Much love, B. I love you. I hope that one day that I'll get to talk to you on your birthday. That'd be real cool.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I'll see you in a couple weeks. All right. Now, with that being said, I am Vico the Bearded One.
Ha, and I'm the Jarl. Stay weird, weirdos.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
Be fucking toxic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're doing.
It's gonna have to be somebody else's sign off.
I know.
You played this game before. Your mind was made up. Once you walk